We've only got about 46 to go. Hello, everybody. Hello. We've just been chatting amongst ourselves here, tucked away in the Spacebook. We're wasting great content, so I thought we'd say hello before and limber up the mouth. This is what I did before every show. I sort of mess around my. If you believe that, you believe anything. Yes, it's been Prime Day, so we've been comparing purchases. What was it you picked up, Gary? That new hat?
Oh no, I've had this. I just don't really wear it too often. No, I got totally on Ian's recommendation. Psych. And I bought the pre-order. I pre-ordered. It's coming in January. The I Dream of Jeannie complete series Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So they're putting out I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, aren't they, on Blu-ray?
Yeah. I just got.
I Dream of Jeannie. In Australia.
It's only the first 2 seasons of Bewitched, but for Jeannie, it's the whole thing.
I think it's on YouTube as well. I Dream. I think the pilot's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think I saw it. Yeah.
I've never seen either of those shows. They used to show them on Channel 4 in the afternoons or something. I think it was on when I was at school.
Yeah. Did. Pretty cool.
I've only seen the porn versions.
You would.
That was only last night, wasn't it, Matt?
Oh, only ever seen the first 2 or 3 minutes of it myself. Yeah, and then
Turn into carry on live.
Oh god!
I actually know one of the actresses, but that's another story.
Serious question. I thought I was a proper physical media guru until I met you guys. Is Prime Day something they only do once a year, or is it twice a year?
Twice. Actually, more. They did it in July, just 3 months ago, and then they did it again.
That's what I thought.
June.
That's what I got confused.
Oh no, it was July.
There you go.
It was July,
and it's not really a day; it's like 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a whole week for me.
Oh, okay.
See, John, you've pulled the trigger on the rock.
Because I live in the future, so I get extra days.
Real life time traveler.
I bought me a TV and a shelf and a bunch of stuff last Prime Day. This time I just got some cheap stuff.
I don't think I bought anything in the summer, but
because I've ordered from the UK and America, I have to wait nearly over a month. It took me 2 months to get one Blu-ray, and that was the 4K of Ghostbusters 2. And that took me 2 months after the fact. That's how long it took to travel.
Did you get the 4K of Did you get the 4K of the 2016 one too, Matt?
No.
I don't think they even released that on 4K.
I did finally see that. And I was like, "Ooh, this is bad."
No idea what you're talking about.
It was such a hit that
all-female Ghostbusters
slipcover.
Jeez,
that's a terrible film.
Is that what he's talking about?
Chris, I've got an idea as well about maybe doing a live reaction of me watching the Terrifier movies.
I saw it.
All of them.
I saw the first one.
Do you know what?
The first one.
And what'd you think, Ian?
It's obviously is a take on the slasher movies of the 80s, right? And it's so funny, right? Because you can tell that they didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And at the ending, when he wheels him into the, it's meant to be the morgue, isn't it? You can tell it's the same building.
Yep.
You can tell they shot in the same building, which made me laugh so much. But it's really fun. It's a fun movie.
It is like the best movie. It's what I'd rank it as one of the top 3 horror franchises of all time. Because honestly, would you admit that the art is a little
turn
bit,
me right off? You do.
Matt, if you've ever wanted to watch a naked clown wearing somebody else's face, this is the movie for you.
This is why I don't come on here anymore, Dan. He just grosses me out.
The other day, I got talking to somebody who's also into movies. I know they like entertainment, movies, and geeky stuff, and all that kind of thing. And I just mentioned the Terrifier movie. I said, "Oh, a mate of mine." I was talking about you, Chris. A mate of mine is like really into these films, these new horror movies, because we were both complaining about horror films. And I mentioned Terrifier, and his face just lit up. He goes, "Oh, they're really good." And he was trying to tell me. I said, "No, don't tell me. I've heard enough. No."
My friend went to see the third one today, and and he called me, and I said, "Well, what, was it any good?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was good." He goes, 3 people walked out halfway through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they couldn't take it anymore.
The sick bags are not an exaggeration. They actually warn you.
They actually show, rather than show the actual footage from the film, they show footage of the audience watching the film, and most of them are so slinking into their seats with just like absolute disgust,
Yeah.
and like a lot of the women are there going like this, and you can hear in the background all these noises like cantaloupes cracking open and
Cantaloupes.
watermelons and
Well, there's
anything
a
yet?
sign on Twitter, isn't there, at the moment about
That's not a good first date movie.
about the cinema out the front, and they've said if you feel sick
you know what?
during Terrifier 3, if you feel sick, then to come out and see us, and we'll sit you down and we'll give you something to relax you. They've actually got a sign out in the lobby.
Whoa.
Yeah, Ian, you got to see the second one. It has probably one of the most.
Did they give you a happy ending, John?
I was going to see the second one. I was going to see the second one today, but obviously I'm doing this. But do you know what? Right, the effects, right, is good, but you can tell they're obviously not real.
That's what this bloke said to me in the shop. He said, if you like old school horror movies where it's physical, but you can sort of tell that it's physical. He said, you'll probably like this. And I thought, I get it now. You know, when somebody else sort of explains it a different way, you think, oh yeah. And then he said about something else equally sort of nasty. Oh no.
I saw this Japanese horror film. I don't know if Chris has seen this, but it's called Evil Dead Trap. And it's a Japanese horror film. And within the first 2 minutes, I've never turned off a film before, but within the first 2 minutes, they show a snuff film, and it's someone getting a lady getting her eyeball getting cut out with a knife.
Evil.
It's called Evil Dead Trap. It's Japanese.
I'm adding that to my list.
I was going to say, it's now on the top of this list.
It was so bad. Like bad as in awful. Like it made me feel ill. I just had to stop.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that would stay with you.
If you like it, it's
right
torture
now,
porn.
Interpol are watching this stream right now, and they're just making notes. And they're going, right,
to all the boys and girls at GCHQ and others, welcome to the show.
They're doing face IDs of all of us.
Hello, Mr. Starmer.
Hey, buddy. I'm in Canada, but you'll come get me anyway.
One of the best things about Terrifier, the first one, is that it leads you down a garden path, and because you've seen so many horror films as well, and you think this is going to happen, and it doesn't. See, that's one of the nice things about this film as well. You know?
I know loads of girls like that.
Yeah. So there you go.
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
People are asking, do we know that we're live? Well, of course we know we're live. Hello, good evening, everybody. We just haven't started proper. Yeah, we've been here constantly for the last 7 days. Yeah,
but
I think
credits will be at the end of the stream.
Why not? Let's do it Chris Chibnall style. Okay, yeah, I think it is probably time that we actually start things up sort of properly. This is the Spacebook. We don't do anything properly. Welcome. Yes, so let's hit our buttons, get everybody sort of sorted and in position as near as we can be. Are you ready, everybody? We've got some comments. That's always a good sign. Thank you, everyone. Hello, welcome back to the Spacebook. We've been expecting you, and we're already here. This is where we're talking all out there entertainment and live streaming it to you on YouTube and Rumble and X and Facebook. All will be revealed, even more will be revealed, debated and debagged here in good time on our 100% real-time live stream. It's Saturday, when is it? The 12th of October,
Sunday.
2024. My God, it's Sunday for some of us. Of course it is. God, there's always one. There's always one, isn't there? For a change, it isn't me. I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, and I am flanked by a team of I'm flanked by a team of YouTube's biggest and brightest pop culture pundits. You've met them already. Let's get them on again. Who have we got and where have we got them? Yeah, we've got Ian David Dears, the mega geek, the one and only mega geek. We've got John Yulden over the other side, so good slam dunk down there. Bolstrek here, the real legend that is Bolstrek, with a brand new icon premiering just for us tonight. And we've got Matt Pott there in his inner sanctum. And the very snazzy looking Gary Akers, the retro doc there. It looks like a new cap. Apparently it isn't. It looks pristine, my friend. I don't know how you keep it looking so nice.
A James Kirk cap.
Terrific. I wonder if no, I don't want to know if Shatner's ever worn underpants with that sort of livery, do I?
Shatner's done his pants.
You could be
When I'm
right.
feeling really daring, I put on the Halloween mask, which was molded after Shatner, and just kind of go full Shatner with the cap and the mask.
Get into the spirit of it, because it's Halloween month. The season of the witch is upon us, and to celebrate this, Chris here, the legend that is Bolstrek, is premiering his new icon. So do you want to explain to the people what's going on here, Chris?
I went into one of them AI programs, and I put in a description of Professor Dinkles, and this is what it came up with.
That's how I'd always imagined him. He looks somewhat nefarious. He looks like he's about to torture us with some facts and cold hard truths about the state of pop culture.
He's he's still running from the authorities, Dan. Remember the wood chipper incident a year ago?
Oh, he's still on the run.
Yeah, he's looking for a part, and he's going to sneak in at some point.
Yeah. Well, we're rooting for him. Hope he turns up at some point in the near future. So it's been Prime Day, which confuses the hell out of me, because it's a bit like Pride Month in that it seems to be on 3 or 4 times of the year. So I never know whether I'm coming or going with it. It looks like I've still got a little bit of time to pull the trigger on something in my basket. But let us know, the physical media peeps out there, what you've got your eye on. Have you snagged anything or not?
All the new Doctor Who's are available at the moment, extremely quarter price. So if you're interested,
everything from Whittaker.
They couldn't sell those. No, correction. Most people wouldn't take money for those because they don't want them. I'm heading into rant territory, and I said I would never mention that show by name on this podcast.
That's all right. I did it for you.
Okay, I need to think about happy thoughts. Somebody just tell me something happy. I'm just
bro.
I mean,
we'll get to a happy place. Of course, we will.
Those, it's kind of like you could blast all of those Jodie Whittaker ones into space to warn potential aliens
doesn't want that.
Not to come near the Earth.
Yeah, it's one way of making sure that we do stay alone in the universe, isn't it? If they ever cop tires on that.
I tell you what, one that I'm really looking forward to that I've ordered is Police Squad. I've never seen it.
It's funny.
Yeah.
There's 6
Leslie
episodes,
Nielsen.
I think.
Are you getting
is there only 6?
Yeah.
Are you getting the Naked Gun trilogy with Top Secret 4K set that's coming out?
Is it coming out? Really?
Yeah, it's coming out. I think a couple of months.
Somebody's disappeared.
It's Gary Akers. He's been beamed up by the Enterprise.
He really left an impact, didn't he?
or it's Sakia is picking us off one by one. Who'll be the next?
Terrifier.
Come after me, bitch.
Who knows? I'm sure Gary Akers will rematerialize in a short while. Yes, so we are live streaming all of this out there as Halloween month really starts to kick in. Well, we're nearly halfway into it. My God. Happily, we have some experts here on the pundit, not just on the panel. Not just in physical media, but in movies and TV and everything else as well. So yeah, let us know what you think of all of this, the chat up to now, and the various things that we're going to get stuck into on this edition of the show. We have Gary back there. We thought Starmer had got you there, pal.
I was going to say I was the first one to go down.
Yeah. Rugby tackle by Razor.
I'm not saying anything.
You are.
Yes. This is where it all happens, everybody. This is where we show off our knowledge here, just like Mr. John Dykstra here, the legend. And we've got people in the live chat dropping comments already. So keep them coming, everybody. And yes, so we've got people still confused about what was going on earlier on. But keep up, everyone. There's lots to talk about as we are. Yes, he's maybe smiling, but he won't be smiling when he gets an eye full of all of this, because this is it. This is the season for watching a load of scary movies and for buying scary movies too, isn't it? But I gather you've started early, Chris. You've been snapping things up already. So I've gone and grabbed this video so we can take a look at something that you wanted to tell us about. So check this out, everyone.
The Shocktober sale of physical media is coming to shoutfactory.com. Celebrating the decades of horror from 1950s classics to 50s monsters, 60s shockers, 70s
60s,
slashers, 80s creature features, 90s freakouts,
Oh, I like the
and
thing.
recent favorites.
Oh,
Bring the horror section home with over 500 titles on sale.
Oh, that's the blob.
With discounts as deep as 67%.
one-eyed trouser snake there.
Spend more than $100 and receive a free Scream Factory gift.
Wait until you
What a
find out what that
Scheduled for
was.
2024, beginning October 4th and running until the 17th. Only
Got another few
on
days.
ShopFactory.com.
Actually, I was going to ask him.
Should have warned me about that. Where's my pills?
Oh, that's nothing.
Is that how
So-
they clean out their back stock?
So, Chris, I gather you're not very happy with them at the moment. I mean, that looks quite generous. 500 titles, vouchers, and free gifts and stuff. What's the problem, mate?
Okay, so as you know, Shocktober used to be awesome. This year it was kind of depressing.
Right.
Arrow's Shocktober was really depressing. So Scream Factory kind of used to be for us, hardcore horror fans who like the obscure deep cut stuff, some of the cult classics.
Right.
Well, Scream Factory for the most part has abandoned that. They're now the company of re-releasing already expensive 4K sets that were released in some cases like a year ago on Blu-ray. I skipped those. They don't really do the deep cuts anymore. The odd one that they might do is an exclusive on their website that costs like $50 a piece to import to Canada.
Gotcha.
So I was watching other videos as well, and the consensus on the sale this year was underwhelming. The 67% off, that's like for like crap that's they sell every year that nobody wants. The sales themselves on 4Ks, their sale price is like $31 Canadian, not including shipping, not including the protection, and not including when they screw up the importing and you have to pay Canadian taxes on them as well. The depressing part, as I was going through it, and I did do my order, but it was mainly just filling in some back catalog stuff, which I'm almost done with what's still available.
Yeah.
But it was depressing. As I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the new stuff. I'm like, this is all just modern re-releases, things that have recently been released on regular Blu-ray that they're putting out on 4K. And then I'm looking at how awesome the back catalog was, which largely stopped a couple years ago. So,
Well, I looked into this, Chris, and it does seem that they've been doing it for several years. And
they've been doing it for over a decade. And
wow.
It's the same stuff that they've, aside from some of the new 4K titles, it's the same stuff that they've had for the past few years because they really aren't releasing anything innovative anymore. They've lost IFC to Shudder. They don't seem to put out any independent horror anymore. That's the other thing that we used to like. Half of that is cleaning out the IFC titles because they don't release that anymore. So no original stuff, no back catalog stuff, no nothing anymore. Oh, and you know what the prize, or you know what the special gift was? I think the last time was like a really cool T-shirt. You know what it was this year?
Go on.
A 1 year subscription to their, a 1 month subscription to their streaming service, which generally you can get for free. So I did get I finished off most of my back catalog. So I got although most of them are from like 10 years ago that I've just been putting off for a while. So so if we look at that, I can tell you roughly when each of those. So 2017, I'm just gonna put these in order as to when they came out. So 2017, 2015, Exorcist 3, I think that was 2018. Darkman, I think it was like 2016. Dolls, that was actually out of print. Now it's back.
I have a couple of those.
Yeah, Arrow put out a much
Arrow released it, as well.
Like 2015, 2015. Like these are all from the 2010s. So the things that they're featuring. So these aren't even recent releases. Some of them have had 4K releases, but so it was just the thing. Okay, the one company that does they don't do it in October, they do it in November for Black Friday. But the gold standard for sales, which is what Shout Factory used to be, is Vinegar Syndrome, which they do and each year I spend like $300-400 on Vinegar Syndrome. Their sale is awesome. Everything is at least 50% off. They have new releases, like exclusive releases that come out that day. Some are announced, some are not announced. Some you don't even know what they are until they go live. A lot of their releases will have limited edition slipcovers just for that release. It's like a big event. So they planned for this. People look forward to it. Shout Factory used to be a month long. Now it's just 2 weeks. And it's literally, I think that even that poster that you put up, Dan, was from like 2 years ago. It's like, okay, we got to do this. We're going to push this out. It's the same stuff they have year after year, plus the re-releases that they put out this year. And that's it. So I guess I could kind of see why they're...
I mean, to the uninitiated, that seems like a good chunk of time, and you see the infomercial thing they've got there. You think, oh, it sounds okay. When you're talking about the sort of relationship that I know that this label has with its clients, in the same way that Network used to in Britain, and that Vista is building up too. You know, we were talking about Vista titles earlier on, weren't we? They're doing the Dream of Genie and Bewitched stuff.
Yeah,
it seems like Shout Factory have had this. They've put all the hard work in, and now they're taking everybody for granted. Really,
it's the same stuff over and over again. But it's and I follow a lot of horror YouTubers, and a lot of them are saying the same thing. Like Scream Factory just isn't what they used to be. They don't do, even when they do put out a new release, they used to have awesome slipcover artwork. Now it's half the time it's just the theatrical poster. Like that effort isn't going into it. And the other major Shocktober sale is Arrow Video, and that's even more depressing because Arrow and Shout/Scream, they used to be the two big horror boutique labels in North America. Arrow, I didn't even order anything this year because horror, they basically abandoned horror about a year and a half ago. The only horror that they put out now are 4K re-releases that a lot of them don't even need to be re-released, but they're mainly just mainstream movies now. So I did go in, and to justify the cost of shipping and everything else, I looked at it. I'm like, it is the same stuff that they had 2 years ago because they've released next to nothing in terms of horror since. So I just passed on that. I did get some stuff from Kino Lorber, which oddly enough, they're not a horror label, but they're actually putting out more horror or more unreleased horror than probably Scream Factory and Arrow Video combined. So the new king of boutique horror by a country mile is Vinegar Syndrome. They now blow pretty much everyone else combined out of the water.
I got to a place recently, Chris, where I looked at my DVD and Blu-ray collection and the 4K collection I'm yet to start, Gary. I still haven't bought one. And I thought to myself, how long can I keep going with this? How many 80s films? They did only make so many films, even in the 80s. There's always a limit. And I do wonder, when I hear Chris talking like that, I think, well, surely, are there really that many more films? But there are. You know, you only have to really open the door properly on it all, and you see how much material there is that they could potentially give this treatment to.
There were thousands, if you include like all the low budget stuff, which is what hardcore horror fans like myself love. But yeah, it's the thing with physical media, and one of the dangers is at some point, because it is very heavily focused on older stuff, I'd say probably the 50s up to the early 2000s, not so much after that. So at some point, the well is going to run dry. With horror, there still is, because Vinegar Syndrome keeps putting out new releases we've never heard of before. But the problem with physical media, and it is a problem more so than the general public losing interest, it's the fact that at some point they're going to run out of classic films to put out on Blu-ray and 4K. And we are headed towards there. And the stuff that's coming out now, let's be honest, 90% of it is kind of crap. So this is why we need independent films to step their game up, because they may have to save physical media in the future. But now that I've done my sort of half rant, I'm going to shut up.
Well, it reminds me, like I say, we get to this point where I think everything that's come out that I want has been out. And then I noticed that I think it was Arrow have released a box set of all 4 of the Robin Asquith starring Confessions of a Driving Instructor movies in 4K, Ian. And I think, yeah, I'll have that. I need that. Of course I need that. So I've got these niche interests as well. And what are your thoughts on this, Ian? I mean, is there only so much material, because I know you don't buy as much as some of the rest of us, but you pick things off, don't you? There's something that's particularly seductive. You bide your time and you get it.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what Chris is saying, and I am a fan of those films. The only reason I'm a fan of those films because obviously I grew up in that era of horror films and B pictures and stuff like that, and it was glorious. It really was, let me tell you. But I don't really go as far as John and Chris when I go to buy physical media. I only buy the films that I truly did connect with. I've got what you call it, zombie flesh eaters, somewhere up here somewhere, which isn't 4K. I think it's Blu-ray. I think
very nice.
I've got, and also I've got zombie flesh eaters and Evil Dead. I've got on 4K as well. So those films were close to my heart. You know what I mean? But I'm not like Chris and John. I don't buy in bulk. 70s. I've got to have that one. I've got to have that one because that was in the 72.
What are you trying to say, Ian?
We all need an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got a bad addiction.
We do indeed. Pity the poor souls are addicted to this live stream, who are here every Saturday night. Ian, commenting along, Matt, with all of this nonsense. This is your first one in a little while. We've got regulars. It's building up to an army of movie and TV and comic devotees here who listen to all of this guff. So I think it's about time we check in with them and see what they've got to say just for a couple of minutes. What do you reckon? Yes.
I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. With Scotch's lifetime guarantee. Tape what you want both night and day. Then re-record, not fade away. Re-record, not fade away. Re-record,
if it's Scotch, it's guaranteed for life.
It was a lie. My Scotch tape cracked when I put it in. I bought it from Woolworths. And I put it in and
it's too late to contact the old customer complaints department. I think they could be closed. We're hanging out with gruesome friends here and foes. Maybe a couple in the live chat here across YouTube and Rumble and Facebook and X and everywhere else. Thank you, everyone, for being so patient with us. Like Lord Thoth, he was here. Yes, thank you for modding for us again. Lord Thoth, happy to have you back in the chat. We've got Rose Kirby here too, who says hello, chat, Spacebook, and to all in this universe. That's very that's not very inclusive, Rose. Think about people in other universes as well. Get woke. Yeah, what about the people in the multiverse, Gary? We can't leave them out.
Exactly.
Greetings and felicitations from Darren M. Yeah, just for us. Hope we're all well. Are you feeling well there, Matt? Yep. Not flagging yet? Yep. One word answer. Good stuff, like it. Michael Q's in the live chat. Hello, chat. He says he's clapping his hands and he's smiling like a Cheshire cat. That's what we like to see. I've got you in as well, Ian. That's you. A friend of yours? Got that girl. Yeah. That girl is absolutely gorgeous.
He's catfishing. He's catfishing.
Homina.
Yeah.
We've got this. Yeah. I can't wait until it comes out, the poor girl.
For a minute.
Sir Sidney Rough Diamond says, I love Evil Dead Trap. That was the gross film you were talking about earlier on, Matt. It's got a fan here in our friend Sir Sidney.
Yeah.
I'm just looking it up right now. Can I get that?
This is it here. Evil Dead Trap. There you go.
Let's have a closer look. What format's that on? Is it DVD?
Gross. It's sort of like a Saw. I think that they took it like very similar to Saw. It's a lot of like I don't know. It's more like you know when they had that big boom in the early 2000s with I Know What You Did Last Summer and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that this is like one of those rip-off type, I Know What You Did Last Summer type movies.
According to Sir Sidney, there was a couple of sequels here as well.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, I've got the sequel one as well, but the sequel one's paranormal, which is what is more my thing. This one was more of a
in North America from Unearthed Films.
Well,
I'll add it to my cart for future reference.
Yeah.
There we go. Apparently, it's
yeah,
Amazon recommended. Yay!
Oh, in that case, yeah. God, they've recommended some crap to me. They truly have.
I have heard of this at some point. I just have never seen it.
What?
How about Trick or Treat on the Arrow label, Chris? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it came out recently. I actually have the original studio release. Scream Factory put it out a few years ago. I would have upgraded it, but the cost for Arrow 4K in Canada is like $60 to $70.
Wow.
So yeah, it's I got a limit to how much I'll spend. Brilliant movie though.
So I want to ask Matt a question. Matt, do you know what the real title of Evil Dead, that one that you've got there, the real title?
I think I don't. Well, it's in Japanese.
It can't be called that.
Which
Yeah,
you
it can't
are.
be called that. Surely it can't.
It's
be.
in
It must be-
Japanese. A lot of them did that in those days, Ian, because they were
really?
real. Like, yeah, a lot of Hong Kong films and stuff like that. Yeah, they ripped off, so that they could get a bit of moolah.
That's right.
How scary can they possibly be, John? That's what I keep asking myself.
Well, I've got to be honest with you.
The issue that I have is the fact that those sort of boutique labels is that the Australian ones and that now are going for the international groups, the international customers like America and that. Whereas America, they couldn't give us stuff and they just lock everything out for just the America only.
Yep.
And
well,
so
America and Canada, but yes.
And I hate Scream Factory. I for the longest time I was not buying. For the longest time I was not buying anything from there because I knew I'd have to get use a region locked, unregion locked Blu-ray player. But I got this recently because it was really super cheap, and they're discontinuing it.
Yeah, awesome
but
collection.
Can't get them here, so I want to buy local, but of course, they're just not making it for Australians anymore.
This is why I had to order the DVD version of this, because there is a Blu-ray set in the US, in North America, but I haven't got a multi-region 4K player, so I had to go for the DVD set.
It was
according to my other mates, that's a beautiful set. Anyway, they did a really good job with that set.
I've heard that the DVD is actually better than the Blu-ray for Rockford Files.
I got
no, really.
The Blu-ray is Mill Creek, which is if you know anything about Mill Creek.
Okay.
It looks fine, but it doesn't look any better than a DVD.
Mill Creek likes to put like 25 hours of something on one disc. It's like the compression is a nightmare.
Oh, they did that with Highlander the series, didn't they? Yeah.
Now it's all coming back.
That's not as a Blu-ray.
I think one company went through all the old shows and they rescanned them and they redid them all. Like Quincy is totally digital. Obviously it was shot on film, but it was totally digital. Now, if you look at it, it looks like it was shot yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they've done a really good job on most.
And I suppose, Ian, that they would have done that because it was because they could then package them all up, send them out, resell them to the ever sort of expanding and evolving TV channel market, and now the streaming market, places like Pluto TV, where they're just going.
Right.
I think Matt, Matt, you were the first person to tell me about Pluto TV, and they're kind of.
I've never
constantly.
heard of Pluto. That wasn't me.
Maybe it was.
That's Canada.
Maybe it was you, Chris. Yeah, and it was definitely on this show a couple of years ago now.
Well, Pluto TV is basically just it's a streaming service, but it's basically TV channels. I don't know. It's free if you're in Canada. They'll run Doctor Who all day, but you don't select just like
Tubi. Is it like Tubi?
Yeah, it is. It's like Tubi or Friendly.
Yeah, except Tubi, you can select what you want to watch. This one, it's just a constant stream. I actually leave it on for Sky while I'm busy. I just put on some of the home improvement shows, but it's just, it's basically it's like cable. You just flick channels and whatever.
When I was in America in the hotel, the TV had Tubi, and it had a Doctor Who channel. And I was going, great, Doctor Who. So I switched it on. Guess what it was? It was bloody Professor McCoy. It was Professor McCoy. I was like, no.
No, they got one for Doctor
Famous
Who. They got one for. I think they've got Star Trek: The Original Series. So, like every couple days, they go through the whole series. They've got Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think they got one for like Matlock.
Yep, I got that one.
What you got there?
Last Starfighter, which I also passed on when I saw the price.
And that's what really irks me is the fact that because Arrow's UK, if you don't know, Arrow was originally from the UK.
Oh no, they still are.
It's on its way.
No, but when they started going over to America, they actually started just getting exclusives. Oh, yeah, hi. So they actually started getting exclusives and stuff like that for American audiences only. And Last Starfighter was one of those. I only got it because it was 4K and mostly 4K region free.
Yeah.
But I got this recently. Like, it's the Mission Impossible box set, the TV series, on Blu-ray. Right, on Blu-ray.
Oh, it's Blu-ray. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
it's the Blu-ray.
Oh, that's the TV show, not the films.
Yeah, it's a TV show. All 7 seasons on 46. This is region free, by the way, but it's American version, and
I'll have to
they
get that.
released this in Australia, but only on DVD, and it was actually $100 more to buy it on the DVD than it was to buy it on the Blu-ray. So yeah, there you go.
You know what, right, guys?
Oh, there's Gary's got the same set.
My mum watches.
Well, he lives in America. He's lucky.
Every day, she watches Mission Impossible. Those episodes, Matt. My mum watches them every day.
You want to watch something funny? You watch Leonard Nimoy try to do an Australian accent. It's like the worst accent I have ever seen. God knows what he was thinking, but
I even got the 80s seasons.
Yeah, that was made in Australia, actually.
Oh, I like that show. Yeah,
Queensland. I've actually been through. They had like a tour, and because where they actually made it and that, and you could see some of the props and that sort of thing.
Those ones are terrible, Gary. I remember watching an episode.
Jane Badler's in it from V, isn't she?
Diana.
God, I like it.
What happened is, especially for this first revival season, this was made when the actors were on strike. So basically, all they were really doing was refilming scripts from the original series for the first year. And
do you know what happened to one of the actors? If you Google one of the actors, what happened to him was pretty horrible. So
that was the era
the white guy in it.
That was the era when they were bringing stuff back. So they brought that back. Then they brought back Kung Fu with David Carradine.
Legend of Kung Fu.
Yeah, that was awful too.
With his son.
His son.
It was
and it was set in modern day.
That's right. Yeah.
I will say on shows
David needs money.
Last week I obviously said I was watching the Battlestar Galactica series, so I hammered through that, and I know Chris, you said you've picked it up now, but this week I've added Airwolf and Knight Rider to it, and
into the rotation.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off that the Airwolf one didn't come with the final season, which had none of the characters in it.
Who needs Pluto TV, John?
Exactly.
My mum sits and watches these shows every day. Airwolf, bloody Texas Walker Ranger, whatever it is.
Yeah.
She just sits there and she loves all that
Walker
stuff.
Texas Ranger.
Again, I wanted to answer somebody
Renegade.
Yes. Terror Vision in an earlier comment.
Yes.
The other labels. I am going to try Terror Vision probably for Black Friday weekend. I know the Rumpelstiltskin set actually looks really good. The problem is being in Canada, some of these boutique labels, especially those that aren't available on Amazon, are not the most exciting to deal with. I won't buy from Mondo because they're an absolute nightmare. Their shipping alone is like $50 for one item. So I'm going to try TerrorVision Unboxing Week, see how it goes, and see if they screw up the international shipping. But yes, shout out to TerrorVision, but I haven't had any dealings with the company yet, so we will try.
I've had some good tickles from 88 Films as well, as mentioned by Sir Sidney Ruffdine. There, I buy a lot of their stuff.
Another UK one is fantastic. Is Eureka? They release a lot of Hong Kong films, and they started doing a lot of 4K as well, and Indicator as well to a certain degree. But I've really
Indicator. That's the name I always forget. I always get them mixed up with Arrow because they got sort of similar packaging. Yeah. They're the ones that have done the Confessions movies and the Adventures films.
They're the ones that are typically region free.
Watch that one tonight.
What is that? Is that the Batwoman thing?
No, that was a 60s cheapo ripoff made
Italian.
around the time of the 66
Italian.
Batman.
Spanish, I think.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it Spanish?
What made you buy it, Matt? What?
What are you talking about? Look at the cover. That's why he bought it.
I was really surprised because I thought this was the
Oh, God.
Batgirl
What made
solo
you buy
film
it?
that that they were going to release, and they, I thought, I got a really
That's
good
on,
deal with it.
Yeah,
That's on
But-
YouTube, Matt.
Like I said, I'm watching it. Yeah, but like when you're watching it, it's unintentionally hilarious.
It is,
'cause
it is,
was
it's
so-
funny.
It's Mexico,
Very funny.
by the way. It's
Oh,
Mexican.
it's Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I watched it in the Spanish language, but like it's so funny watching this crime fighter, and she's in a fucking bikini, and they're taking her seriously, and they're like,
Most of it is like just filmed
Nothing wrong with
at somebody's pool.
Fine, but
It's
Yeah.
like just everybody
Yeah.
around the pool. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
I've decided I'm going to go for, and I've never watched all of them through before, but I've decided I'm going to give the 80s Hong Kong martial arts movies a go with like
I'll give you a couple of them. I'll give you I'll give you a couple of recommendations because I've got.
Yeah.
I've got a massive heap. I was a
I
massive
could
Hong Kong
never
fan.
I could never complete
Yeah.
watching them. I used to rent them, and so many of them just bored their pants off me because some of the acting was just. I mean, it's one thing to have bad acting in, Ian, but this is atrocious acting where they can barely string a sentence together.
You're watching it with the people. You're watching it with voice acting, English voice acting, aren't you?
Cynthia Rothrock was terrible.
Oh,
I
she
remember
admits
that,
that she was terrible, though.
Was it like
She
the-
totally admits that she
Bless
was
her
terrible.
heart.
You got to remember, she was acting like in Hong Kong and actually speaking like just
English.
and then getting
Yeah.
dubbed.
I've seen
So
a clip.
you know,
I've seen a clip for one, and I think it's something like called "The Last Ninja" or something like that. And it's basically an American girl gets possessed by a ninja, and she's
Well,
like,
that happens.
I know
She's
what
worried.
that's Ninja
Yeah.
3, The Dominion.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah. So that one's going to be great fun. I can't wait to go through that one.
The poster for that movie was up in my local newsagents because it sort of doubled up as a video rental shop in the 80s. It was, and they left that poster up for years.
Do you guys ever watch Armor of God with Jackie Chan? That's probably that's one of the best ones.
Those are good.
Really?
Well, those are quality
really
films, aren't
fun.
they? Because
Yeah,
Jackie
really
Chan was a.
I like the
proper pro.
fact when he filmed the Bronx, but he did it in Melbourne.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
totally in
did
the
he really?
Bronx, and it was like he filmed it in Melbourne, and I'm like,
Oh
that's
God!
amazing.
You know what the most amazing thing in Armor of God is? After all the stunts that he did, the most amazing thing is him with the bubble gum. I don't know if you've ever seen the film where he'll bounce that bubble gum off the wall and it goes straight into his mouth. He'll do it all the time. When he's he'll flick it and he'll swallow it, and then every time he does some stunt, he always gets the bubble gum out.
What a
You
legend!
want to see
Watching that
something
movie?
scary? You watch him in City Hunter, and you watch
that's
him dressed up
terrible
as
movie.
Chun Li from
yeah,
Street
yeah,
Fighter
yeah,
3.
yeah. Very
It's
funny.
like it's just like
Jackie
Okay,
Chan
him dressed as a
turned
woman, not
70
nice.
years
I
of
know.
age the other day, and he looks incredible for his age. I don't know if
he's
he
an
can still chuck
alcoholic.
himself off.
Dan, he's going to be coming out in the next Karate Kid movie.
He is.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
I
We'll be
saw a
talking
really
about
good
that
film
on
with him.
next week.
I saw a really good film of him in the adaptation of The Chinaman. It's called it's not called The Tourist. It's called The Foreigner. That's what it's called.
That's with,
With
Pierce
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
It's
and
good.
I
it's
thought it
good.
was fantastic. It was probably one of my favorite recent films, anyway, because it had
I'll
the
tell you one-
IRA and all that.
I'll tell you one horror film I did watch in the week that I haven't watched since I was a teenager, and it's probably one of the only horror films I watched was Shocker with Mitch Pileggi.
Oh,
the
yes.
Wes Craven
Remember that
movie
one.
about the guy who's on death row and he gets taken into the
it.
television.
Yeah, that was the poster, right, with him in the chair.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
Brilliant
Flop,
stuff.
That one, but it was. But
Was
you
a bit
know,
of a flop.
Wes
It was a
Craven.
decent film though. It scared the life out of me.
Before
See,
the-
those
before
kind
the-
of thrills and scares, those are the ones that I can take, Gary. I mean, I do try. I think, what would Ray Parker Jr. do if he was that frightened, if he was besieged? We know what Ray would do. He'd tug on the old shirt and sing the song, do the dance.
Shocker probably would have been a little bit more successful if it would have had a Ray Parker Jr. song in there somewhere.
I think so. I think so. Let's so we've been watching some new stuff as well between us. We've been watching streaming shows and things like that. A lot of them have got a kind of dark edge too. So we're going to talk about a couple of those on this edition of the show. And there's a big news story that we want to get to as well. So let's see what that is and what it's all about. Yeah, so we try and keep up with the stuff, with the present day, with whatever's going on, what's streaming on the big platforms, and tucked away on some of the smaller ones, all those little treats, all those nuggets, and homegrown stuff too. Now and again gets a big push in the UK. The kind of shows that you see in every bus shelter, plastered across the sides of buses and trains and things like that, to really grab your attention. And if it's got a pretty girl in, well, it's guaranteed to do the job. John, and that's exactly what happened. What happened this week? I saw this turn up absolutely everywhere. A Sky original, it says there, called Sweet Pea, with the tagline, "It's always the quiet ones." And there's the gorgeous Ella Purnell sat there very sweetly in the middle at the back of the bus there holding. I'm not quite sure what she's holding, but if you look closely, she's either been really, really careless with the double cheeseburger in Mackey's, or there's been a bit of ugliness gone on. And the blurb for this show, which is on Sky in Britain and on Stars in North America, the blurb says, in this deviously twisted and darkly coming-of-age thriller, Ella Purnell from Yellow Jackets and Fallout stars as Rhiannon. No, not that one. A different one. A quiet wallflower who develops a vengeful and liberating taste for murder. Rhiannon doesn't make much of an impression. People walk past her in the street without a second glance. She's overlooked for promotion at work, and the guy she likes won't commit. But when everything in her life is turned upside down, Rhiannon is pushed over the edge, and she snaps. So this has dropped all in one. All 6 episodes are there to stream on the Now platform. Ian, you told me about this a little while ago. I had no idea what you were talking about. And then I started to see the posters, recognised, it's the girl with the big eyes from the show that I've been meaning to watch. Have you watched it after telling me about it? And if so, what do you make of it? I mean, there's 6 episodes. It's quite lean.
I watched all of them, it's enjoyable, but it's, again, right, there was another show that was very similar to it called Obituary. Was it Obituary? Which was kind of like the same story, and all of them come from Dexter. All of these stories that's like that is mirroring Dexter. That's basically what this show is, mirroring Dexter. And so was Obituary mirroring Dexter as well. That was the Irish thing. And this is very similar, because in the Irish thing, the woman was a wallflower. Nobody paid any attention to her. She was working for a newspaper, and she was in the obituaries column, and the guy wanted to get rid of her because there was no one dying. Then she goes and kills people, and then she could keep her job, whatever. In this one, it's just more or less the same thing. Everything in her life is going to shit. Then one day somebody pushes her too far, and she ends up stabbing this person. And then
with a face like that as well. So I did look into this, and now you've said that about Dexter, that makes a lot of sense. It's based on this book called Sweet Pea by C.J. Skuse. That can't be a real name. The first of several titles based around this character. The last person who called her Sweet Pea, called me Sweet Pea, ended up dead. So that's how this. Well, that's how this is sold.
Yeah.
Is she just bullied by girls or something?
Yeah, no, she's not bullied by.
She's bullied by everybody.
Bullied by boys only.
I don't want to spoil. There's going to be no spoilers in my review. She's someone that people just don't see. Do you know what I mean? Invisible. Unassuming, whatever. And everybody treats her like crap. Even her sister treats her like crap. This girl here, she used to go to school with, and she used to pick on her all the time in school, used to make her feel like she's nothing in school. Anyway, I'm not going to give anything away. It is very enjoyable. There is one bit in this show that I thought didn't work, totally didn't work, because of casting. And so that was one of the things I didn't like about it. But apart from that, It is enjoyable and it is worth your time.
Because it's not a massive cast, is it, to this? So if they do get a key piece of casting wrong, you do notice.
Yeah.
Is that the chick from Fallout, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, that's how I recognize it.
She always reminds me of the chick from the TDK ads. You know, those old ads with the weird. I know it's PlayStation with the weird like eyes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'd seen her before. I mean, I watched the first episode of Fallout only a couple of weeks ago on my new TV, and I loved it, but it was exhausting. So I haven't gone back and watched any of the rest. But when I saw she was in this new show, I jumped right on that instead.
Woke garbage.
Yeah, she's very good in it. All the performances, apart barring a few, is good in it. As I said, right, because of current day, some of the casting is completely and utterly wrong. But apart from that, it is enjoyable, and I do recommend it. So there you go.
I looked into it, and because I usually I don't think Ian's ever steered me wrong with recommendations. So I looked into seeing where is this available in Canada. This is why I hate streaming. So it's available on Crave, but you have to buy a $10 add-on for Stars. So the $20 you're already paying for Crave, plus another 10, so 30 to watch that show. So I'm actually canceling Crave after I'm done with Penguin because they suck. But yeah, I won't. If it comes out on physical media, I might pick it up based on your recommendation. But yeah, I won't be watching it live because I'm not paying.
It's incredibly bloody, so you'd like it. Chris.
I love violence, terror, destruction, disemboweling. I'm a very sick person.
It is strange to see a show this graphic turn up on Sky TV, even though Sky has evolved considerably now, and they've got this Now TV platform too. So it's on both of them. There are lots of different options to see this on Sky Atlantic or on Now. There's a cast of British actors who, some of which I've seen in other things, look familiar, and I think the series looks beautiful. I've watched the first 2 of the 6 in the last few days, and I think it looks really, really good. It's suitably grim. This is how Britain really looks, rather than how they make it look in glossy shows, Ian, to make tourists want to come here. So the workplaces really are this dull. The bus shelters really are that dank. Everything is sort of covered in piss, and people really are this down. Camille Kadori plays the landlord of a local pub in this. She plays the usual sort of old brass with the cleavage and the big gob, and that's lots of fun too. And the rest of it just sort of ticks along exactly as you'd sort of expect.
Yeah,
really.
What is
everything
going on
happens.
with this guy's shirt?
He's well, that's what he wears, but he
is he a cyclist? He's meant to be like Jeremy Vine, isn't he? That kind of wanker.
He's a reporter. He's a reporter, and he's none pleased when Rihanna, is it Rihanna? Rihanna gets
Rhiannon.
Oh, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. No, it's not. I wish it was. It's not. It's he's the new reporter.
So when I saw this had sprung up, I thought, okay, a British series that, as you said, Ian, that does look a bit bloody, looks rather bold. I should find this. I should give this a go, because I've seen some good shows like this in the past. Remember that one that Nick Frost did a few years ago?
I hated that one. I thought it was terrible. The one with the ghost.
The ghost one.
Yeah,
that was terrible. I
quite enjoyed it. There's several here and there that I have enjoyed, and even though I've only seen the first episode of Fallout, Ella Purnell,
it's really good.
I was instantly sort of smitten with her. She's very, very hot. So that's the main appeal, I have to say. But she's a good actress as well.
Yeah. She is a good actress. Again, I recommend it if you guys get a chance to watch it. It's very, very, very bloody, especially the last episode. Incredibly bloody. But that's.
And this is where I'm going to show. I mean, we're the only people who've seen it, Ian. It's just nobody else has seen any of this yet.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Because I have to say that I can't recommend this at all. I've seen 2 of them, and I will not be watching any further. Okay. I thought it was absolutely awful.
Wow. The worst thing about it is the adverts that Sky puts on. It's so annoying because you're so used to Netflix when you watch something and you watch it all the way through. But this has ads everywhere. It's like ad in the front, ad 2 ads in the middle, another ad. It's just ridiculous.
And they're always ESG nightmares.
I mean, I've objections with this. as a format. I mean, for a start, the book looks fucking awful. But that's not aimed at somebody like me. You know, I can see who that's aimed at now. And to be honest, if I'd have known it was based on a book like that, I would probably have given this a wide berth. So it's sort of on me. But watching these two episodes, I really had to force myself to watch the second one. I thought, come on, Dan, you know, plenty of shows that have sort of taken flight in the second episode. But I just thought I'd seen it all before, as regards what happens when. But more to the point, there's this idea. I think the book was written about 2017, 2018. And apparently Ella Purnell really likes the books. But to me, to make a series of this after 6 or 7 years, it's completely redundant. All of this idea about contained female rage that's going to come out sooner or later when one person pushes her that bit too far. We've seen so many movies and shows like this.
So
it's now old hat. But the thing that really derails it is obviously with something like this, you're supposed to be able to sort of sympathise with the person who's being pushed to the edge. You know, I'm thinking of things like Falling Down, or even shows like Reacher, where the character is clearly flawed, but has a code of conduct. And even when you look at things like Dexter, you know, Dexter is a monster. But it's balanced so precisely. I found this incredibly crude, and the character of Rhiannon is so nauseatingly self-pitying. I have to say that I think all the bullying that this character got at school, I think she fucking probably deserved every single bit of it. I got no sympathy for this character at all, and when she starts killing people, for them looking at her the wrong way, I think just come and arrest this fucking tart.
Did you see? How many episodes did you see? Just 2?
Only the 2, yeah.
Dan's clearly not the target audience for this show.
I am not. There's no way I'm watching any more of this shit.
It's starting to sound like a pass for me.
Yeah, I still think I can fix her, to be honest.
Okay,
you know,
she's gorgeous, but it's just not worth it.
No,
she looks like Battle Angel Alita without the special effects.
Yeah, big eyes. Yeah. No, this show is, and shows like this, they all spawned from Dexter. Dexter was one of the first shows to actually show on TV the amount of violence that it actually showed, and then every show that came out, like, is this, and Obituary was like this as well. It's the same thing with when they had police procedural stuff, when they had someone that was an expert on something and helped them solve cases. Then there was like a whole batch of them coming out as well, wasn't there? So this is just one of them. I did.
You see what I'm saying about Dexter over a period of like 10 or 12, 13 episodes in a season of that? They unpeel the character and it gets very deeply psychological. This is just some Mardy tart who's never got a shit together, blames everybody else for absolutely everything. And then some geezer looks the wrong way and she kills him. And we meant to think, oh, that's fine, love. You carry on as you were. It's unreal, absolute drivel.
They've got to redo that Sky advert now. And just put she's a Mardy tart across the bottom of it.
That was the original title of the show.
I think Dan's being a bit rough on it.
Is she the love child of Marty Feldman?
Big eyes. Actually,
I could look at her for hours, whether she's got covered in blood or not. But
Marty Feldman drag.
They poured on all this crap on top of it, didn't they? Like her dad died, the dog, and this, that, the other, and stuff like that. And it in my opinion,
and if you noticed,
wait, did I hear that? Do they kill a dog in this show?
They kill a dog, so they go for the John Wick thing. I will
not watch it. I ban it. Clarification. In horror, not in John Wick, but in horror movies, it's so over the top that I'm usually okay with it. But in a drama or anything serious, a dog or even a cat getting killed, I don't care. You can mutilate people all you want. I'm perfectly
I don't
fine.
even
I'll
like
laugh my ass off, but kill a dog and it ruins me. So
I don't even like it when it happens in the Thing.
Actually, I skip those scenes, but no, I'm one of the people that hard ass Bulls Trek. I actually do use when it's a serious movie. DoesTheDogDie.com, and if the dog dies, I will not watch it unless it's an old horror movie, in which case it's
The
You know,
dog
it'd be
does die
ridiculous.
in a very unconvincing kind of semi-off-screen way.
Exactly.
Don't care. Don't care. Nope. No. It's no.
But again, it's so superficial. It's hard to sort of hand wave it. I mean, the main issue I've got with this is the fact that this guy who comes in and sort of takes the job that she wants. Where's that? This guy, perfectly normal bloke. He's clearly deserves this job that he's gone for. Knows his stuff, and she doesn't know anything.
No, wait, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. He got the job because the boss knew his mother. That's why he got it. He wasn't qualified at all to do the job.
Oh well, they do point at the relationship between the boss. Well, they go to great lengths to show that the boss does know his mother, and so she calls him. Rhiannon dismisses him as a nepo baby, but with no reason. He knows he's the one where they go out trying to get stories. He's the one who's observing due diligence and being professional, and she isn't. So I'm afraid I agree that he should have got the job.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Basically, he got hired. He has no experience whatsoever. There was a job going. She applied for it. He said no.
Yeah, but it is an intern. It is an entry level reporter though, Ian. It's not like
but he's not
a high level.
No, that's what I'm saying, right? So he had the same experience as
She's got no experience whatsoever. She answers the phone.
Yeah, he didn't have any either, but he got the job.
No, but he knows. But he's gone through university.
Yeah, and
he's got qualified, and she answers the phone.
No, wait, man. But so did she. She went to university as well, and she had a CV of certain things that she did. And remember, he told her to chuck it in the bin. Do you remember? Recycle it. Do you remember that bit? But
yeah, I do.
The job.
And that was a lovely scene. But they don't tell us what she did at university. If she did fucking psychology or flower arranging, then what was the point?
But Dan, you said that this guy he didn't have any experience whatsoever.
All I will say,
admittedly, I have only seen the first two episodes. I have only seen the first two episodes. In the first two, he comes across as being a normal, hard-working young man who has worked for his qualifications, and yes, he's got connections, but he absolutely deserves this job. And this girl, who doesn't seem to demonstrate any qualifications or suitability for this job whatsoever, and as we find out, is a complete psychopath. She's supposed to have this job because what?
In my
just because she's a pretty girl.
Oh, hold on. That doesn't make it. No, that's not how it went, Dan.
I'm going by the first two episodes. That's all.
That's not how it went. That's not how it went at all.
It's his own fault, isn't it?
Are you sure it was?
And the dad just seemed like a massive wanker. They've not mentioned. They've not mentioned.
You say that
he has raised her. He has raised her. He has raised her not to be a fully functioning adult.
How do you know that?
Well, again, in the first two episodes, because she's so bloody useless. This character is absolutely nauseating.
How do you know? He was only in it for like 5 minutes before he died.
But because the stuff that he tells her that she repeats throughout the first two, my dad taught me this, my dad told me that. What? If he raised her in this way, she's out there killing people.
That's not how it went.
I mean, if you want to laugh, if you're curious about this show, go and check it out by all means. I thought it was absolutely terrible, and I mean, I can't watch any more of this. Not when there's proper. But obviously, other opinions are available.
Exactly. It's his own fault, though, isn't it? Because, from my experience, if a beautiful woman says, "Meet me in an underpass,"
no, she was going to kill him.
That doesn't happen, though, John.
Well, I don't care.
John, I guess.
None of this happens to anyone. It's absolutely
no, guys, you've not lived in Dorset. You don't know what it's like.
I have no idea.
Hang on, I'll move there.
I mean, yes. So the 6 episodes of this, they're about 40 minutes apiece. In all honesty, you can get the whole thing done in 3 or 4 hours. And personally, I think you're better off doing a bit of grouting or I don't know, cleaning out the bath. But if you would like a bit of blood, it's as you say, it's a pretty girl.
Right. So it is, in my opinion, it is worth watching if you're into that sort of thing. if you're like Chris and don't like animals getting killed, then don't watch it, right? But it seems pretty obvious to me that, Dan, you weren't taking most of it in. But, that's
no, of course I was taking it all in. I just didn't feel it. Just feels
it feels wrong, Dan.
It feels desperate. Well, maybe that's revised in subsequent episodes, but it feels desperately superficial and old-fashioned, and I felt like every beat it was going to hit, I saw it coming a mile away, despite the fact that I do think that Ella Purnell is a bit of a find and could probably... I think she's still one to watch. She shouldn't really be wasting her time with tat like this just because she liked the book, which is probably shit anyway. I mean, I looked at the end credits.
That's just nonsense. I mean, how do you know the book is shit if you haven't read it? You know what I mean?
Have you seen the cover?
Like, what the hell?
You can listen. I work in graphic design and illustration. You can tell a book by its cover.
You don't like the cover.
It tells. The story, mate.
Yeah, look, Harry Potter. That's why they changed them.
If they ever put this on physical media, I want Dan and Ian to do the commentary.
Yeah, that's the book. Everybody to go and get that. And you're like, yeah, this should have told me everything I needed to know. And yes, just to fill in the gap, everybody, I was a little bit curious. Looked at the end credits to see who was responsible for this tribe, and what did I see down listed as line producer? Now get it, almost as bad. Isabella Waller-Bridge. Do you think that's a coincidence? Because I don't.
Nothing about this sounds good. This sounds awful. You're killing dogs. You got Nepo sister.
Nobody killed a dog, Chris.
Mind you, though.
No one killed the dog.
I just found out that Mel Brooks produced the Cronenberg's The Fly, so there you go.
Yeah.
You never know what they'll produce.
Yes, so this is a Sweet Pea on Sky TV and Now TV. Both those platforms have all episodes up on their libraries already. You lucky people, you can dive in and get it all done and down as quickly as possible.
Or just do something else.
Viewers in North America can get it on Stars. It says here, Chris says
fortune, $30, no pass, buy.
That's okay.
It gets a recommend. It gets a reasonable recommend from Ian and an avoid from me. So it's about level. It's 50-50.
To know the level sort of thing, to be fair, I mean, Ian loves Blazing Saddles and you can't stand it. So,
no, I think it's terrible. Absolutely awful. Yeah.
Your taste, Dan.
Yeah, fair play. I'm the bloke who likes Delta from the Bannerman.
That's entitled to his opinions.
They don't kill any dogs.
I really did think it was bad.
Well, there you go. I thought it was, it's not the greatest thing that was ever made, but it's, it's worth people's time if you want to watch. If you into stuff like that, put it that way. So, yeah, there you go.
I thought there'd be, I just expected something that I hadn't seen before, and just something that would have been enough. But if you've watched it, if you've watched Sweet Pea, if you're in Sweet Pea, hello. if you watch Sweet Pea, let us know what you think of course, in the comments section, whether you're a couple of episodes in like me, or whether you've watched it all, like our Ian there, or 6 episodes.
And if you're inspired by Sweet Pea, please look at them, not me.
That's Sweet Pea. Have we got anybody who's watched it?
Weird things.
In the live
I don't know,
chat.
Baby Reindeer, Sweet Pea, all this weird shit.
Baby Reindeer was good, but it was very distasteful in my opinion. But, it was all right.
Yeah, I nearly went for that as well, but I got a similar aroma coming off that. I thought, no. Darren M says, I feel like I'm getting a rabbi rant. Yeah. Oh God, was it that bad?
No, it's
Lord Thoth says she has a perfect sized mouth for scientific purposes. I have no idea what this means.
No, not at all.
Oh my God, that's just rude.
As a Fallout game fan from the first one, the show was excruciating. Dexter type, she's so cute, says Lord Thoth there. Yeah, so I think this has only been out a few days, so people haven't had a chance
How old are you, Lord Thoth?
to see it yet.
You're older than me.
Lord Thoth has found somewhere to put his beak.
Oh my God.
Oh dear. So much to stream with a pizza and a beer there. Say, at least it's a pretty girl to look at, and it's more than you get in a lot of shows, Gary. So
really
in some ways you're wrong.
I wasn't sure.
The size of the mouth, it's the size of the throat.
I didn't hear about this show until today. I was wondering if this was based on the Popeye, because Popeye the baby in Popeye was called Sweet Pea. I was wondering if it was the same character.
And do you know if the novel was actually commissioned by like an agent, and then it went, or did somebody just write it on Amazon?
Probably someone said this is like
wrote it on a toilet wall in lipstick. I couldn't tell you, mate. I mean, it could be one of those where, just as you say, where they write them in a kind of serialized form. And then, because Bridget Jones was written like that, wasn't it? Like 25 years ago. And it did set a bit of a trend at first they were all sort of confessional stuff like that. And then, as I understand it, they went a little bit darker, and it is connected to identity politics. This is absolutely sort of wokeness gone mad. It's somebody who thinks they know why Dexter was successful in print and on television, and just does a really sort of superficial version of it.
It's a formula now, isn't it? With the
I suppose it is.
With the serial killer, not quite a monster, but is a monster, if you know what I mean. That kind of thing. It's people have been copying it, especially You. You ever watch that show You on Netflix?
No.
You
everyone tells me that's good.
Oh, I know what you're on about.
It flipped on its head. But he was a stalker. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like they're all come from Dexter. Do you know what I mean? They all spawned from Dexter, all of them. But yeah.
It's sooner or later it all tracks back to our friend Dexter.
You don't watch anything on Netflix because it never ever goes beyond one season half the time.
I watched that show Chaos with Jeff Goldblum, and I liked it, and they canceled it.
Yeah,
I heard nothing but good things, but good things about it, and then within 48 hours, it's gone.
Yep.
Stephen Braddock says, I've just come home, switched on the TV, and what an argument. It's quite a time. Ian and I have had some belters in the past.
It's not an argument. It was just
no. It's a difference of opinion. It's a simple difference of opinion over a silly TV show. But sticking with streaming and sticking with monsters and looking to Netflix, what's next?
On your last trip, did you discover what the Earth people eat? They eat a great many of these. They peel them with their metal knives. Boil them for 20 of their minutes. Then they smash them all to bits. They are clearly a most primitive people. For mash, get smash.
Remember that ad?
Cadbury potato mash. My God, I expected some chocolate in there somewhere. I was like,
wonderful stuff. You'll be seeing more classic ads here on the Spacebook Live, man, because we like them so much. And I think that they informed our geekiness to a great extent in Britain. Several decades on, of course, on streaming platforms, we didn't get any adverts. Now Amazon have started to sneak them on, haven't they? Netflix haven't followed suit yet. Have they? Oh no! Oh God!
I've got the cheap tier in Canada, which is like $7. Oh no, we got ads, and every ad is an ESP.
Oh yeah, we've got ads.
Funny, it's almost like they're all running at a loss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could be.
It couldn't be with what they've got on the screen, surely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, next up, we're going to be looking at a Netflix show that, again, a couple of people on the panel have been watching. This is Monsters. The Lyle and Eric Menendez.
There's a dog died. That's what I want to know.
Menendez. The Lyle and Eric Menendez story. This is a 9-part series. It's actually season 2.
I lived it.
It's season 2 of an anthology show that's the work of Ryan Murphy, who is the guy behind American Horror Story, I understand, and various other things.
That's another one that's bloody horrible to animals.
Described as a biographical crime drama anthology. Chris, you messaged me about this. You said it'd be good to talk about this. So I gather you jumped on this as soon as it came out, because I think you told me about the first season, which has to be a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, well, it's created by Ryan Murphy. So originally created
based on a true story.
Good show. Amazingly co-creator of Glee, and then American Horror Story, which was good up until about a few years ago. Now I guess every couple of years he does this Monsters series. So this is the second season. The first one was Jeffrey Dahmer, and you can tell it's him because it does have multiple American Horror Story actors in it. So for those of you that don't know, if you weren't around in 89 through 94, when this is all you saw on Inside Edition every night for years, Lyle and Eric Menendez were they had, let's say, a problematical relationship with their parents, which ended in bad things happening, many bad things happening, accusations of bad things happening, and then a bloody death of the parents.
All right.
While they were eating ice cream, yeah.
So the trial, if you know, went on for about a decade. There were two trials. The first one was a mistrial. Then a few years later, you had the second trial. Eventually, they were found guilty. One of their defenses was that their parents had been, especially their father, had been doing bad things, which we shall not mention on Dan's stream because Dan will get in trouble.
Is it based on a true story?
It is.
You guys didn't hear of the Menendez twins?
I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a story here.
That's all. Okay, literally, there was a show. I don't think it still exists anymore, but Inside Edition. Actually,
now it's
hosted
still
by
around.
Bill O'Reilly. So for years, all they covered was the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
Then they switched to the O.J. Simpson murders, which that's actually covered in this series when their attention goes away when O.J. does his famous chase with the Bronco.
Right.
So it's they did the same thing with Dahmer. They also released an actual documentary, which just came out, which I haven't seen. Although I've, just through osmosis, you would have learned everything about this case. If you're of a certain age, we are sick about it. We're sick of it after a while. But the show itself, it is somewhat over the top, just like Dahmer. Generally well acted. The guy who plays the father,
Javier Bardem, is it?
Yeah, from he was actually in Mother, I think was the last thing I've seen him in.
I always enjoy him in everything
too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been all over the place. He does a great job of playing the father. The mother, I can't remember her name, Chloe something or other, but she's been on several seasons.
Chloe Sevigny?
Yeah. So she's been on several seasons of American Horror Story. I recognize the actors that play the two brothers. They've been in a few different things. And then you can see throughout several American Horror Story actors. But I would say Dahmer was probably the better of the two shows. I think it's mainly because Evan Peters plays evil, unlike anyone I've ever seen. The guy is just naturally creepy. I would recommend it as watching. I don't think it needed to be 9 episodes, but actually there is one episode, I think it's episode either 4 or 5, where the entire episode is just the lawyer interviewing Eric Menendez. So the whole thing is basically just Menendez telling his story or what happened. So you have an entire 45-minute episode that is just one scene of talking, which I thought was really well done. So I don't know. Has anybody else watched this, or my?
He went under heavy makeup, didn't he? What's his name?
I said, I lived through it.
Bond film, innit? He went, because I remember seeing a clip from this that they put makeup on him so he looked like the real guy. This is the show, right?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
The guy on the left in the picture was in Gotham.
Yeah. Butch, wouldn't it?
And the guy on the right, or the guy standing up, he was on Ozark. He was the FBI agent.
Yeah.
I want to ask, Chris, was this, from an entertainment standpoint, because I know, it was obviously a notorious, tragic story and stuff, but is watching this for like 9 hours, the recreation of it, is it actually like entertaining, if you know what I mean when I
I think it could be cut down to about 7 episodes, but as putting aside, the horrific actual real life circumstances behind this, this is one where you actually, in some parts, it's disturbing to the point that you have to shut it off and go back to it, especially some of the scenes involving the father. No, I would recommend that. Like I said, I think Dahmer was better just because of the performance of Evan Peters. I think it's probably one of the best, most creepy performances I've ever seen. But no, if you're looking at this just for entertainment value, I'd say it's worth that as well. Probably even I'll probably be watching the documentary this week that sort of came out to accompany it.
So isn't there like there's an update now with since this has come out, is it Billie Eilish or someone that's asking for them to be released now? Because
Billie Eilish will do anything for attention because she sucks.
I didn't even know what happened. You just gave it away.
This happens. This happened with the Tiger King, didn't it? And a lot of these people who have Netflix series, documentaries, or dramas or movies made about them, the thing gets looked at again. There is an update, and I understand that Ryan Murphy's talking about potentially going and making a couple of extra episodes of this set decades later after the fact.
Maybe.
I haven't seen this, but I have seen some clips of it up on YouTube, and I have to say I am probably going to give this a go. I remember you telling me about Dahmer, Chris, when it was on, and I regret not watching it because I never got round to it.
I couldn't watch it because he was hurting animals and stuff, so I didn't want to watch it.
There are some scenes that you will want to skip with Dahmer, but Dahmer, it's worth
to
it
me.
for
This looks like a really stylish and moody production.
I don't know if I'd call it moody.
Like a David Fincher thing.
Hollywood.
Not really. I wouldn't say it's David Fincher. Well, I guess, yes, some of it is a little bit overblown.
Hollywood, yeah.
And the family was incredibly rich, which at the time added to the notoriety and why it was on all those shows like Inside Edition and stuff.
I've never heard of this before. I mean, I've seen the show on Netflix, but I've never heard. It's based on a true story, but I never heard.
It's kind of the difference between over here in the UK, because if you're of a certain age and you were watching really anything from 1989 to 1994, this story was covered to death.
Yeah, it was.
It was on Saturday Night Live. It was mentioned on Married with Children. Pretty much every sitcom you can think of. The joke was, my kids are terrible. I'd rather have the Menendez kids. I think that was the Married with Children joke. But yeah, no, they were probably for a period the two most famous people in the U.S. Like, they were everywhere.
Yeah, notorious.
Yep.
That actor in the center, I don't know which one of the brothers he plays. He came from
he's Lyle.
He came from a soap over here called General Hospital. That's the show that he came from, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I've never watched.
Well, no, but
yeah.
A couple of years ago, a couple of years ago, I saw Zac Efron play. What's his name?
Gosh.
What's the name of that guy?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
And I thought that film was absolutely outstanding. I found it really disturbing. It wasn't too much of a gross out, so that it lost me. And I felt that Zac Efron, who I haven't seen him in many things, but really disappeared into that part. And I'm getting, even though just looking at still images and the trailers that I've seen for this does seem to be along similar lines. I think I probably enjoy this. The Dahmer one looks very, very intense.
Both shows have scenes that I think regular people, even me, I'm like, there are some scenes where I think a lot of people have to stop and then go back to it, because both series have very, very disturbing elements to it. And I don't like using the word trigger warning, because we all know what that means. But there is some content, especially in this one, that is not for everyone. So I will say that, without the overblown current year usage of those terms, there is some really, really messed up stuff in this movie.
Wow.
Like, is it a series? Is it a series?
I keep calling it a movie, but yeah, it's 9-part limited series.
Okay. Were they found guilty then?
Yeah.
Okay.
They I guess
eventually.
Yeah, eventually. And
they always said they were innocent.
Yep, and there's some ambiguity to it. I won't say exactly how it
like that.
It's not really ambiguous.
Yeah.
It's no, there is some really messed up stuff in this. I will just warn everybody ahead of time.
Oh, so just everyday stuff then.
Well, if this is everyday stuff, then anybody that calls this everyday stuff, I would probably be concerned about.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm always disturbed.
So Ryan Murphy is teasing making more of these to update the story. Apparently, they're getting a court hearing late this year.
They're not getting out. They are not getting out. You just look at the evidence.
So we're found guilty.
Like that, I will say this right now: they are guilty.
Oh dear.
I find it funny nowadays.
I think the title of the series being Monsters.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of gives it away that they're wrong.
But not entirely. The way it's framed is the monsters them, or is it their parents?
Their parents.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you have, and it's kind of you sort of have to judge for yourself. Having been exposed to this case to death over 30 years ago, I'm on the side of they were guilty, and I think a lot of this stuff didn't
guilty as hell. They were.
They were. They were not a very happy family.
What is it? Is it a case that still does get talked about, or is it one that sort of gathered a little bit of dust?
It comes up. There's another movie made a couple years ago. It was maybe 7 or 8 years ago. It may have been on AMC. It was on one of the American networks. I only saw the first episode and then didn't watch it beyond that. It comes up every now and then. In terms of true crime, it's been covered to death in the past few decades. But it's one of those, if you're in North America, over 35, or I guess maybe over 40-ish, you know this case just through existing and having a TV.
Does anyone?
Because obviously we have
Why
equivalents.
did you? Who put my name under that picture?
Which one are you, Chris?
Because obviously it looks like for a good time call.
Are you aroused? Chris? Are you aroused?
Because obviously we have cases such as that in Britain that are big, and then they go away for a few years and nobody really talks about them. You don't hear about them, and then it comes back to the forefront of people's minds. I'm thinking of the Fred West thing and the JB Bolger.
We've had a lot of issues nowadays with our justice system. Is that a lot of the people that were put away for life are now getting released on technicalities and that happened years and years. It's just because they've found more new proof that and it's like child killers and stuff like that, and it's just awful.
Could be worse. We don't even have a justice system over here anymore, but that's a whole other story.
Or here.
Yeah,
I understand.
You do have that wonderful prime minister of yours.
President.
Justin Trudeau.
We could do all the
nothing prime about it.
Here's the one sad fact. I will let you. Okay, so right now his government is in there's not just one scandal. There's some of the biggest scandals in Canadian history going on at the same time. An academic actually did a study of Canadian political scandals going back to our first prime minister in 1867. Over half of them are from the Trudeau government. No, honestly, I won't go into it here because that's not, we don't really cover that here. But the scandals that are coming up right now, there's multiple. They can't actually get any business done because the Liberals will not turn over required documents to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. That's how bad it is. Our government is actually stalled.
Yeah, but
I'm not.
Your education system's still pretty good, though. It's very much like Degrassi Street, isn't it?
It is.
It is
actually. Yes.
But yeah, that's so. At some point, we'll all make a movie. We'll call it Canada 2024. And it will be terrifying. And how did I get political? Who started me on this?
You did.
No, it was Matt Potts.
Yeah, it was Matt.
Stephen Braddock says in the live chat, it's a pretty grim story to watch. Very disturbing. He's seen the first 2 of the 9. Do you think you're going to make it through 9 of these? It does seem like quite a lot. It does seem very intense. I mean, I, for example, will never watch the drama the BBC of all. I still can't believe they did it. The drama that the BBC made about Jimmy Savile, incredibly distasteful.
Wait, did that actually come out?
Yeah.
Who played him?
It kind of fizzled quick, didn't it?
Steve Coogan, of all people. I've lost so much respect for that man.
Yeah.
So I'll never watch that. And it's for a number of reasons. But I might have watched it. Had it been anybody but the BBC themselves have made it to. Clearly, it looked like an attempt to absolve themselves of any responsibility whatsoever for the actions of the monstrous Jimmy Savile. But with stuff like this, there's a distance there because I hadn't heard of this. Did you, Ian? Were you aware of any of this?
No. No, not at all.
So we've got the luxury of distance, haven't we? Whereby we can read up afterwards. We might look at Wikipedia or speak to Gary or Chris. Did this really happen?
But see, this was
different for us.
Do you guys get Entertainment Tonight over there?
Yeah.
The American that used to be on. The Menendez brothers used to be covered on the Entertainment Tonight. It was a media frenzy, and
Well, no, Matt,
we had it on Sky One back in the day.
Did they?
Yeah, we had it on Sky One back in the day.
So it was we'd have Entertainment Tonight, which would be at 7, and then Inside Edition at 7:30, and Menendez on both of them. That's all they were covering.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, Entertainment Tonight is an entertainment show, and yet it was showing, that's how they thought.
Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
We did.
So,
that came out
Mary
right around
Hart.
the time as that Lifestyles, the Rich and Famous show that was on around the same time.
I never watched
we
that
had that.
because I wasn't rich
That
enough.
made it here.
Champagne Wishes and Caviar Dreams.
They have a Canadian version of Entertainment Tonight. Don't they?
Not anymore. They don't. It got canned. Thank God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, really?
They did try a British version of it with Selena Scott.
They're actually the
called
most honest.
Entertainment
Isn't that scary?
Express, if you can imagine that, Ian. This is Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. It seems very, very graphic and very, very unpleasant. And if we've stirred any memories for people in the live chat that they'd rather not have been served, obviously we regret that. I am interested in this. It's this more so than the Dharma one. It's going to go on the list. It's going to get listed. Hopefully, I'll get round to it.
I do like
Dahmer's worth it. I've actually watched that series 3 times now.
Did you ever see? Did you ever see?
Yep.
And
did you ever see?
And had animals being killed in it?
What? No, I skip certain scenes.
Oh, really?
I have watched it 3 times.
Okay.
No, Dahmer.
And
is
they're
worth it.
coming up.
No, Dahmer's actually worth it to see the performance because I've never seen anything like it.
Okay.
So but yes, no, it's like The Thing. There's a scene in that movie that I've watched that probably 50 times. I've only seen that scene once. I know exactly where to skip. So yes, you can skip certain scenes. But yeah, maybe I'm just a disturbed individual.
Have you ever seen? I think I may have asked you this at the time. Have you ever seen David Tennant in Des? The one that was the Dennis Nielsen one from the ITV Studios made about 3 years ago.
No,
that's a British version, absolutely outstanding.
I don't watch anything with Rat Boy anymore. Oh, Puppy!
Yeah, I do sympathise.
We have Puppy.
Oh, that is adorable. Hello, what's your name?
His name is Charlie.
Charlie. Hey, buddy. Oh,
hi, Charlie.
I want to give you a hug from over here. Oh,
he just winked. He just winked at us.
He did. We're not covering anything else.
He's a
the
clever
rest of the
dog.
stream, we're just going to look at Charlie.
Charlie,
I says hi.
What do you think of Sweet Pea, Charlie? Have you caught it yet, mate? No, he's undecided.
Matt posts great pictures of Charlie all the time on Facebook.
I'm not on
Instagram,
Facebook.
mostly on Instagram, but yeah.
Ryan Murphy is pushing on with more Monsters or Monster, whatever he's going to call it. I think it's just Monster next time for series or season 3. It's covering a guy called Ed Gein, suspected serial killer. Ed Gein.
That's the guy that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, it's Ed Gein. That's if you don't want to be, don't Google that if you're squeamish. He did some very bad things.
He made a nice lampshade though.
I was about to say you'll never look at lampshades quite the same way again.
Is this going to be a thing then for Netflix to make?
Looks like it.
To make real life stuff that actually happened. Especially this guy, because he directed Dharma and now he's directing this.
Guess where the
so
lights
he's probably just going through the list of serial killers, I guess.
The messed up thing is this is the same guy that co-created Glee.
Oh, really?
To me, it explains a lot. I suffered. I suffered through the entire first season and a half, I think it was, of Glee. Yeah, they're going to begin. Yes, so the third season of Monster, they're going to begin making that about now. So obviously, it'll be. That's a certainty. It's on the way. Probably next year, maybe the year after. I don't know how quickly they turn these things around.
That one. Oh man, I'm actually curious because man. Okay, so just like every movie serial killer, like Psycho was based on him. Silence of the Lambs was loosely based on him.
Yep.
This is he's a
he liked wearing like he was sort of a bit like Buffalo Bill, wasn't he?
He was like Art the Clown, actually, come to think of it. Similar idea. Maybe Art the Clown was he's
I don't think he was like Art the Clown somehow.
he had his home decor was how shall we say, unique? Yeah, we'll go with unique.
I'll put that on my calendar to skip.
Not the kind of decor you'll find in IKEA then.
No. Let's just say he didn't like this old lady, so he decided to leave her in the barn. Let's just say that.
He didn't get along well with his mother. So there's think Psycho.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he went to dig.
He recycled. He recycled.
Recycled.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to be wasteful. I don't know. I don't even know how you could put a positive spin.
I mean, I've got an image of Terrifier 3. Chris going in to watch it. There's all these people throwing up, and we sat there smiling, just eating a big tub of popcorn, going, "This is fantastic."
Chris looks over and goes, "Wimp."
My hot dog and nachos, and then my popcorn, and I don't care.
Anybody seen that show on Netflix? It was about oh god, that girl that got shot, the presenter on
Susan.
Jill Dando. See that documentary?
Yeah,
that was interesting as well. And they actually interviewed the guy that the police thought that.
Oh, the guy they put away. He spent a few years in prison, didn't he?
Yeah. They interviewed him. And they asked the policeman again, do you think he did it? And the policeman was like, didn't I say that he did it? Do you know what I mean? So the police are convinced that he did it. But he got off, didn't he? I think it was after, is it how many years? 8 years? Was he in jail? Something like that?
It's about
I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit rusty on this, but as I understand it, they never had any actual evidence.
They did have evidence. They did.
Okay. So I haven't...
Yeah.
British justice system.
I mean, just lately, there've been rumours have surfaced there that Jill Dando uncovered something that may have been involved a man who was recently spared a prison term, if you remember.
Yeah, one guy in
that's a rumour.
Said that he
alleged.
He knew who did it, and they asked him, well, who did it? And he went, I can't tell you. I can't really tell you. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. He said that. So there you go. So I don't know.
Yeah, so the moral of this story is don't go for the stuffed crust pizza. Actually, any kind of pizza, really, if you're going to watch Monsters. There on Netflix. Gets a strong recommend there from Chris, as did the first season. That was the Dharma thing. So yeah, let us know what you think of that. A couple of people have started this. They're a few episodes in, so let us know what you think of Monster and Monsters, and maybe we'll come to come back to that at some point in the future as well.
Avocado.
Get a big charge out of 2 summer blockbusters. Try the Subway Turkey and Bacon Avocado, packed with a powerful avocado boost. Grab the green and get ready for The Green Lantern, starring Ryan Reynolds, opening in theaters June 17.
Avocado, might as well cover it in vomit.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
Green Lantern's light. Gary, Green Lantern is my favourite of the DC comics, a pantheon of heroes there. All those legends that make up the Justice League, the Flash, for example, Green Arrow, all those. There's the big trinity: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Everybody knows them. You get them on the underpants, and then there's Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and Firestorm, and everybody else.
Yep.
Always been a big favourite of mine. And this logo, I wouldn't go so far as to get a tattoo. I'm definitely going to get a T-shirt of it, and I was thrilled to see that a return to live action was on the cards for the Green Lanterns. So this was announced as part of Chapter 1, which is still called Gods and Monsters, of the big rebrand here, the big relaunch of DC Studios. Yeah, that you can tell they mean business, John. They've gone back to the Bullet, a real design classic. My heart leapt when I saw this again. And so to see it on comics as well now in the autumn of 2024, it's not quite a dream come true, but I'm very, very grateful to James Gunn and Peter Safran for making this happen. They're doing a sterling job so far, but can they follow through on it with all the movies and TV shows that they've had on the starting grid now for nearly 2 years? It was announced that James Gunn was taking the lead of DC Studios 2 years ago last week. Wow. And then it was early 2023 when they started to tell us what their plans were. And in that initial batch was a project called Lanterns. And we were even given this synopsis. It said this series for HBO Max or Max, whatever you want to call it, whatever it's called now. It says this series follows new recruit John Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, who it describes as 2 intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. It cited the series True Detective as a influence stylistically. So I'd say that's a very well thought of show. So that's one way to go. So first of all, this was a few weeks ago now. This is Kyle Chandler, and he secured the role of Hal Jordan.
Great choice.
Early edition.
Now, if you remember, Josh Brolin very publicly kind of turned down this part, but it was Kyle Chandler that secured it. He's 59 years old, an American actor. Yeah, he's best known, it seems, as being the lead in Friday Night Lights, a drama from around 20 years ago, 4 or 5 seasons. My brother loves that. It's a sort of sporting, soapy drama, isn't it?
He was in a science fiction show called Early Edition.
I'm about to bloody mention that part.
I was making sure that you knew.
Great show.
So recently he's appeared in the Monsterverse franchise as Dr. Mark Russell, so I recognised him from that too. But yes, cult TV fans are going to remember him from Early Edition, which ran from 1996 to 2000. Now in that he played a man who had the ability to change future disasters because he got them as sort of premonitions through getting an early edition of the next day's newspaper. Isn't that right, Matt? Go on.
Yes, he got the next day's newspaper today. That's how it worked.
Nice.
So I recognised his face in all truth, Matt. I didn't actually see that show at the time. It was on satellite TV in Britain, so we couldn't see it. But I always wanted to.
As well, wasn't he? The film.
Sorry, mate.
It got weird towards the end, but
Sorry, Ian. What was that?
He was in Super 8 as well. You know that film?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I've got a list of roles here, including Super 8, King Kong, the Peter Jackson movie too, so he's done the Kong thing twice. The Wolf of Wall Street, he's in that. Zero Dark 30, the Oscar-winning Catherine Bigelow film, which bore the pants off me, but he was in it, did really, really well. And Argo, the Ben Affleck thriller
like
from
that film.
5 or 6 years ago. I really liked that too. So a decent string of movies. Carl Chandler does seem to be an actor that people rate and are fond of. So for me, some people were shocked to find a guy pushing 60 would be playing Hal Jordan. Me, I'm all for it. I'm really excited by this. And when I first started reading the Green Lantern comics, Hal Jordan was probably around this age. He was a little bit older and sort of leading the team. So I'm fine with this. And yeah, I'm completely down with that. But of course, who are they going to pick to fill the other spot? That's been announced this week as, and I've never heard of this guy at all, but this is Aaron Pierre, which sounds like a French name, but he's actually a 30-year-old British actor who trained at Lambda. He's been in the BBC show The A Word with Christopher Eccleston and Sci-Fi's DC kind of prequel show Krypton, if you remember. That was about 5 or 6 years ago as well, wasn't it? I don't know who he played in that. I was a little bit bored by that, to tell you the truth. But he was on stage at the Globe Theatre playing Cassio in Othello. So this guy's got a bit of form as well. Up until recently, he'd been locked in for a role in Marvel Studios' Blade film. But there's been so many delays on that, they've let him go. And so DC Studios and James Gunn have snapped up Aaron Pierre to play John Stewart. So in this version of the Lanterns mythology, he's going to be a kind of rookie Green Lantern. So he's half the age of Hal Jordan, according to this. I love these characters, both of these characters. For many people, John Stewart is the Green Lantern. 52 years in comics now. Gary, I think he first appeared in certainly about 71. And then, of course, he was the resident Green Lantern on the team in the hugely popular Justice League series, the animated series from around 2000, wasn't he? So this image of this character, it's nothing new, is he? So putting them both on screen together, I think this kind of fits. It's probably the right way to go. So I'm quite excited about this, as excited as I can be, Gary, considering that both characters, who are kind of childhood heroes of mine, are played by two actors that I've never seen in anything ever. What are your thoughts? Because you're a big comic book fan too, aren't you?
Yeah, I was very excited to hear about Kyle Chandler. I think he's a great actor. I loved Early Edition and the other stuff I've seen him in. He's great. I haven't seen the guy who's playing John Stewart. My knee-jerk first response on seeing his picture is that he seems a little bit young for how I've always pictured the character. And I kind of know why they're going with John Stewart. I mean, he has through the Justice League cartoons, he's had more kind of face time on television than Hal Jordan has, even though Hal Jordan's been around since 1959 is when I think they debuted this version of the Green Lantern character. And this John Stewart, I think, character has been around since 1960. I want to say 69. But
I've got it here. It's 1971. So issue 87 of Green Lantern that came out in January 72. Right. So yeah,
it was like the Hal Jordan was incapacitated. The Ring needed to find somebody else who could take on until he recovered the mantle of Green Lantern. So it came to John Stewart. And yeah, he's been around, ever since then. And, I got to say, Dan, when I heard the description of the, the idea for the television show, I was like, you what? Because it's like,
I was like that.
Green Lantern was has always been the most cosmic of DC series. I mean, responsible,
the biggest, the most expansive.
Yeah.
Hello, is he gone?
Give him a second. I'm sure he'll.
There he is. Back. You're back.
Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. In the last couple of decades, some of the best company-wide crossovers have been Lantern-related, like Sinestro Corps War or Blackest Night, because they have the scope that a lot of the more kind of earthbound characters don't. But when I heard about the description that, it's going to be kind of like an earthbound True Detective, when I go, you couldn't get less cosmic than that.
That was my thought. I wasn't feeling it at all.
But then I thought, if they do this as a way to basically reintroduce the characters and just focus on those two, and then maybe in a movie, then go full cosmic with a full core and, get all the other Green Lanterns in there, that would be the way to go. But if this little Earthbound detective thing is really the only plans they have for Green Lantern, I'll be kind of ticked, because the characters are so much more than that.
I went on exactly the same sort of arc in my mind when I was thinking this through as you did, Gary. And I think the reason, the big reason why I think this is the best way to go is partly when I look back to the 2011 film, the movie of Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds, which I've got a certain amount of time for. But the real reason why that didn't work is it's not because of the sort of superficial. The real reasons it didn't work is because there was so much to the person who'd never heard of the franchise. It was just chock full of mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
In this, we're going to get these two characters effectively introduced or reintroduced, introduced in quite a small story that's going to be in a recognisable kind of buddy cop kind of way. And it does line up with, okay, it wasn't John and Hal at the time. It was Hal Jordan and Oliver Queen in the Green Lantern, Green Arrow stuff when they were the hard-travelling heroes travelling across the States. So maybe that's what they're doing, that kind of street-level story, and then expand out from then once people know the characters, expand this side of the universe.
The other reason I just want to say real quick, the other reason why I'm excited about Kyle Chandler is that the characters he played both in Friday Night Lights and Early Edition are very relatable, very charismatic, very down to earth. I mean, you really kind of identify and, root for the characters.
He seems to play a lot of dads now.
Yeah, I don't think they could have come up with a more perfect casting for like an older-ish Hal.
I reckon they're doing it because the budget, isn't it? I mean, TV shows cost a lot of money these days, so it makes sense to make it Earthbound, doesn't it? Earthbound Adventure, doesn't it? Maybe you're right. Maybe when they go to a movie, they'll expand.
I don't know about you, Dan. I don't think Josh Brolin would have been right for that role.
He's a lot older, isn't he, than this guy?
He's actually younger than Kyle Chandler. But I think he looks less. I think he looks less like everybody's dad than Kyle Chandler. I can see why they went to Josh Brolin, because he's a fantastic actor. And you shoot for the moon. I can see why they went to him. But I think this is actually a really good result. And I like the fact that it's an unknown actor that's got the character that could potentially springboard into a Justice League on the big screen. And that's what I would be expecting them to do. John, what are your thoughts on this?
The casting's good. I actually think that they're starting out with kind of like the Earthbound Investigations is going to kind of be a Blackest Night adaptation. Because there is the Earthbound element at the beginning of Blackest Night. So I could potentially see that, and it could then lead on to a movie, as Gary was saying. The only other thing that also I hope they don't go down is the recent Green Lanterns that were, they were the rookies that were, there was the Muslim guy and the woman who were told to look after
they were in the league,
Earth. In the league.
That's several years ago now, isn't it? They expanded
I hope they're not adapting that, but I think if you're going to do it, if you're going to do something knockout, then I would say Blackest Night is a good way to head towards.
I know they're bringing in Guy Gardner too, Dan.
Yeah,
they are indeed. This was the first Lantern-related bit of casting news that we got, because Guy Gardner is the other kind of. If there's a trinity of Green Lantern, he's the other one, isn't he? Guy Gardner will be played by Nathan Fillion, James Gunn's long time cohort. I think Fillion's been in virtually everything that James Gunn's ever made. And initially, I was
played Green Lantern before anyway.
Initially, I didn't feel this. I didn't get this. To me, Nathan Fillion seemed too old as well. But if you think he's lining up with a nearly 60-year-old Hal Jordan, the fact that Guy Gardner's going to be played by a man in his early 50s as well, it does all fit together fine.
Do you know what, though, Dan? One thing I want, which I don't think I'm going to get, is I don't want all of these shows and movies interconnected anymore, at least for a few years.
I don't either.
I just want them to.
Are they not going to?
I don't mind if one runs into another. The story will be not the story will continue, but like if they give you a trailer and say, okay, coming up next, if there's some sort of little thing. But what I don't want is a kind of an Infinity Gauntlet kind of thing. Yeah,
figure out what they're doing.
I don't want three or four. I don't want 3 or 4 mid-credit sequences.
Yeah.
I don't. All that sort of stuff.
To the movie, then the series. Is the series going to be connected to the movie?
Well, Nathan Fillion is playing Guy Gardner's Green Lantern in the Superman movie that's due next summer.
Right.
In that, it seems like Gardner in that could be a team member of some sort of version of Justice League International, because he's there in the photos that we've seen when they're on location. He seems to be in a costume that makes it look like he's part of a unit of superheroes made up of him and Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific and 2 or 3 others. So that remains to be seen. But we're going to get to see Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner first, which is really interesting because he's such an idiosyncratic character.
Well, yeah, I mean, they cannot commit the fatal mistake of watering this character down. The character of Guy Gardner is an obnoxious, self-important a-hole that you end up liking anyway.
Yeah,
and they need to keep that. It's interesting that will be the first Lantern that a lot of people see. Is such a off the beaten path type of. He thinks so. He thinks he's the best Lantern ever, and he's like the biggest jerk alive. But so it's interesting that they're going to introduce the Lanterns with this character.
Fabulous character. I loved him from the moment I first saw him when I was about 9 years old. But I do wonder if in the Superman film next year, if there's in the dialogue, there's not going to be elements of Guy Gardner in print. Who cares about Hal Jordan? He may be if there's going to be traces of that in there, which will get people who see the Superman film to think, Hal Jordan, who's that? Is that?
Yeah,
and just to piece it together, just here and there. Like, I'm not talking about like going into it in any depth, but just drop the names so that people will look out for it when the series eventually does arrive. I think that's fine.
For anybody who's not familiar with this character, his biggest claim to fame is that Batman laid him out with one punch.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 different versions. Well, I suppose there are 2 different versions of the Justice League team: Justice League and Justice League International, and tied to very particular times and particular writers and artists. And that's where the Guy Gardner character sort of comes from. So potentially here we are. We've got all 3 of the main Green Lanterns, because there are, as you say, there are other Earth-based lanterns, but these are the 3. And if you want to sort of start putting this together. Somehow this is how you go, and I think this is looking pretty good.
I'm more excited about this than the Superman movie.
I'm very equal. I am very excited about all of it. In my view, James Gunn has not put a single foot wrong with any of this
only
yet.
Because the Lantern hasn't been done perfectly right yet. That's why.
True.
No.
That's true.
Try, haven't they? Only had one try.
But I mean, that last film. I mean, I loved how they did Oa and all of that. That was fantastic. How they did all of that. It was great. It was just Ryan Reynolds was just the wrong person for that part.
Most of the animated series, most of the animated movies that they've released of Green Lanterns have been mostly positive. The only one that
First
really
Flight
showed...
was certainly good.
Oh well, that was voiced by Nathan Fillion as well. But actually, New Frontier is probably my favorite version of Green Lantern.
Oh well,
ever.
yeah,
but it's just the Jon Stewart one was actually the least. Everybody hated it because it was so over the top, white man bad thing. And I mean, really? they had the whole thing set up with Parallax and all that with Hal Jordan, and that's what I'm fearful of, that they'll make Hal Jordan into the villain, and I don't want that. If they turn around and they do that, I'm just going to be so mad.
I was going to say that's never been something that I've ever picked up reading these characters over 40 odd years of my life. They're very much brothers in arms.
That's the thing. I gotta kind of be hesitant with John's comment earlier, is because all of the big stories, like the big arc stories they could adapt, really need years and years and years of groundwork laid before you get into them. You can't just jump into them because there's so much they have to lay out first.
And that's why I think potentially James Gunn might be slowly building the putting the seeds in place for Blackest Night, and that's what the Earth investigation is going to be. You won't get a conclusion to it in that series, but I think it could lead into a movie, or it could lead into, you know,
is that the
several
thing with
seasons.
the zombies? Is that the thing
Yeah,
with the
it's where all
zombies?
the dead,
Resurrection.
the Black Rings resurrected a lot of the deceased DC characters.
Even Batman. Yeah. You know,
Hal Jordan as a character, as you say, I mean, he's storied over a 70-odd year period. I mean, maybe some people are a little bored of the kind of the cockiness and the legendary superhero angle. I can see where they're coming from with that, but when it's a character that's your childhood favourite, as this was with me, then you think, oh no, I really would have wanted to see that. So I'm trying to disengage that side to my fanishness. I'm finding it difficult, but when I saw the casting and realised that it's legitimate casting, yeah, I can live with this. I can live with it.
You have to see just how disrespectful they were to the prior Green Lantern before Hal Jordan. You know what they did to him, to the character.
Yeah,
you know, and I just thought that was filth, and I was just like, it's just so disrespectful to all the original writers and everything that set up this character.
This is another topic entirely, but
but I'm just saying because you can see where they're going with this whole thing. So
I wanted to ask Dan real quick. Do you think they're going to bring in Kyle at some point? Kyle Rayner?
I can't.
Yeah,
to be honest, I wouldn't rule it out, but I think a fourth one would be just too much. Yeah. I think if you want to build three characters, they can do that, and I think they can make them idiosyncratic enough to make them different from one another. But we're looking at Kyle again. I'm really fond of this character, Kyle. Kyle Rayner there, right next to Guy Gardner.
I want to see that movie.
I sincerely
one of them at the front lately, haven't they?
I sincerely love most of these characters. Including Jessica Cruz. I never really connected with Simon Baz, and I think Teen Lantern is a fun character. I'm not sure it works, but I think it's a fun character. I think all of these are great, and you could potentially do a lot with all of them. I think any more than three, that would be lunacy. 3 is fine. Alan Scott. I could actually stand some sort of flashback thing, perhaps with Alan Scott as part of the Justice Society, but that's at an absolute push. I think if you're going to stick with these three as a kind of buddy cop thing with the Rogue who's part of the Justice League, that can work. Yeah. That will redeem Green Lantern with a mainstream audience if you give it time.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's good to get some good news. Unlike Marvel,
it is. As I say, I haven't had any bad news at all. Anything I perceive as bad news come from the James Gunn DC Studios camp yet. Everything, even though I say things aren't necessarily what I would have done, what I wanted to see. But I'm fine with it. Cast the Black Guy's fine.
I hope they bring in the little squirrel lantern too.
Again, loved all of that stuff. Obviously, the story is the most important part of it, and it does sound like with lanterns, I think you have to judge each constituent part on its own merits.
Is that the name of it? Is it Lanterns? Is that the name of it?
The series is just called Lanterns. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
They've all been to the gym, haven't they?
Well, you gotta look
at like us, like our new photo.
I wonder if Blue Beetle will make an appearance.
Oh God, no, we don't.
If they do a Booster Gold show, that's where Blue Beetle will show up.
Oh, they are doing a Booster Gold. It's being played by an Indian guy.
Well, it hasn't been. I don't want to get into stuff that hasn't been confirmed because
wasn't it confirmed?
It's not been confirmed. It's just and that's why I say at the moment, James Gunn hasn't put a foot wrong for me at the moment. If that does get confirmed, then I reserve the right to change my answer. But as things stand at the moment, I'm fine with listening to John Stewart's.
Do you know what I want though? I don't want them to make it gritty and grounded. I want it to have all of, the rings, the power batteries, all of that. I want them to go big and bold with all of that, because that's what you want from Green Lantern. I don't want, for a modern audience, we've got to do it this way.
You
No,
go.
if you do it right, it's great.
Don't spare the goofiness. Russell T Davies, when he brought Doctor Who back in 2005, was absolutely right about that, and he went for it, putting things like the Slovene on screen, which of course are patently ridiculous. And that's what they've got to kind of do with this, and go with kind of what Ian talks about quite regularly with traditional special effects. I want to see gelatinous creatures that are practical effects on screen. Have fun with it in the same way that Terrifier sounds like it's having. I know it sounds like a strange, but to look physical, to be covered in gunk and goos and things like that, and so you can still sort of market this stuff to children. I think that would be nice as well.
You have to find the balance, don't you, when you're doing a comic book hero? You have to find the balance between being a comic book and as well as being on the level with everything. So as long as they find the balance, again, this is one of the reasons why I kind of not watching the Penguin, because the Penguin's like Sopranos, and it's like, where's the fantastical thing about it, So I don't want the fantastical when it comes to comic book heroes as well. So I'm looking forward to this, actually, the TV show.
It could be great.
So am I now. I was a little underwhelmed last year when this was announced, but I'm a lot more interested now. I'm feeling it. I'm getting some sort of vibe.
What channel would it be on?
It's on Max, HBO Max, which will probably be called something else by the time it comes on. The whole landscape could have completely changed in between now and then. Of course, it's all going to kick off. It's all going to kick off with Superman next July the 11th. That's coming. That's the first proper poster we see there, with David Conner Sweat, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Holt's names there above what looks like the new Superman logo. So get really excited about this. There'll be lots of coverage about it coming up on the Spacebook Live as DC Studios explodes over the next however long, for better or for worse. Squeaky bum time for DC Comics fans and for Green Lanterns fans who've got to sort of redeem this in the eyes of the general audiences, and sort of, let's just hope that the mass audience will be able to see why this set of characters is as beloved as it is, and why it's been in print consistently for the last 80 years or so, Gary. I think it's been served an indignity or two. Let's hope it can fight its way back with Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre and Nathan Fillion sort of leading the charge there.
There's so much great stories that have been produced over the decades about the character and the core and everything. So they have a lot of great stuff to draw on.
Here's hoping. Fingers crossed.
Maybe we will see all of them eventually. Who knows? Are you a Green Lantern reader from back in the day? Who was your Lantern? And who are you looking forward to seeing the most there? Is it Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner? Is it Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan? Or is it Aaron Pierre as John Stewart, if you grew up watching the Justice League cartoon? And maybe that is, because it's a terrific cartoon. Love it to bits.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know what you think in the comments section.
Will DC get it right this time? We'll see, right?
Well, the thing is, though, I'd be interested too, because I can tell you now, those toys did not sell. They were the least ones that actually sold. Wonder Woman sold more.
I bought them. Oh, okay.
Well, no, but I'm just saying they didn't sell in a mass thing. So if they're looking for mass appeal, I don't see it there. I don't.
Well, with DC at the moment, they've got a chance to basically make wins, a consistent run of wins, because of what Disney and Marvel are doing. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it this week in the last few days, but Marvel have just announced that for their comic books for Star Wars, they've now announced their very first trans clone trooper.
What?
And it shows
how does that work?
Look at front cover. Exactly. It shows how idiotic these people are by the fact they're saying, right, we've made a trans clone trooper that effectively become SS officers. So what does that say about trans?
Well, and
trans people
John,
and
tell him about
writers?
tell him about the armor.
Oh yeah, with the LGBTQ colors on it.
The thing is, they already did that in the Bad Batch, so I'm not surprised by it at all. So
yeah, it's just again,
Is that Marvel? No, is that Star Wars?
Star Wars, yeah. So they're at the bottom of the barrel now, aren't they? They're just.
Hey, Chris, Maple Leaf Dreams, mate.
Yeah.
No,
Canada.
No. Okay.
Those are the only kind of movies they get up there.
I can see Toronto in the background, and Toronto is my own personal hell. So no.
I think this is where we've got to wrap this one up, but let us know what you think about the news of the casting of the Lanterns TV show, whichever generation of Green Lantern you grew up reading, and how you're feeling so far. What's the vibe that you're getting from DC Studios under James Gunn? The announcements so far, I'm pretty hopeful. The more that we're hearing, obviously there's a lot left to come. This is very much the first flushes, isn't it? We're going to have seen quite a bit by this time next year. One animated series, one movie, and we should have an answer on when the Green Lantern show is going to be on screen. It's an extensive filming period from January 2025 right the way through to June. So it's quite likely the TV show is not going to be with us on the telly until 2026. But that's the bad news. I think the rest of it is, pretty good. Pretty good. That's us wrapping it up again now after another fantastic conversation or two or three or four here at the Spacebook Live, the home of all out there entertainment. We've had some comments too from various comic book fans sharing their favourite stories and characters and quotes and panels from Green Lantern stories past. Thanks, gents. Fun show, says Darren M. And questions about the T-person clone trooper. It's very confusing. Just thinking about it's making my brain hurt. Yeah.
Just sending you an image right now. See if I can can add it.
Send the one I sent you.
So
Star Wars is not going to go. It's still going backwards, isn't it? Star Wars.
It's done, isn't it? I mean,
It's in worse shape than all the others. Let's hope this does Green Lantern justice, says Stephen Braddock. And yes, Lord Thoth is a fan of First Flight, the animated movie, and the animated series too. Yeah, that was pretty good. The Green Lantern animated show.
If you need to check on New Frontier. New Frontier is the best.
Right.
Ever.
Well,
that's the Justice League one, though.
Yeah. No, New Frontier was the Darwin Cook one, which took place in the 50s. It was all about setting the origins of the characters in real time when they actually appeared. Brilliant miniseries.
And it's Earthbound too.
Yeah.
Lord Thoth says diversity and inclusion. Plus, Jon Stewart is a kick-ass character. Yeah, he's a really great character. I can't wait to see them all together. I sincerely can't. And lots more of that kind of stuff as well. So we need more in the comments section too. So hit us up with your favourite Green Lanterns of all. Your thoughts about Shocktober. They're letting down Bowles Trek here. How dare they? They've incurred the wrath here on the Spacebook Live. But what do you think? Are you a physical media collector? And do you use Shocktober and various events like that to fill the gaps in your collection, just like Chris does? Are you disappointed, or are you still waiting on certain titles anyway? Let us know what's in your list, what's on your wish list for the gaps that you need to fill. How about the Rockford Files there that John's picked up? He's very pleased with that. There's Mission Impossible that Matt was waving under our noses earlier on. My God, that set looked beautiful. Oh, Ian, I've got several things in my basket. I'm waiting to pull the trigger on. I'm going to have to treat myself. I'm going to have to treat myself tomorrow just to make myself feel better. That's.
Well, hold on, Dan. So you go to Amazon and you pick these things. You just leave it in your basket until you've got the money to get it.
Sometimes. Well, I prioritise. So if I see something, I think, well, I just bought that because Chris operates like this. I allocate myself a certain amount of money. to spend on myself for stuff to read, for stuff to watch, or stuff to listen to, just so I don't go overboard. Because Chris, I would buy everything if I could.
Sometimes if you leave it in the basket right there, the price goes up.
Or down.
Yeah, you just track certain. I always have a tracker app on my phone for when things that I want to get eventually the price goes down. Yeah. But yeah, there's some things that have been sitting in my cart for like more than 10 years.
Blimey, I thought I was bad.
Oh no, I got stuff going. I think probably the early 2000s. You can't buy everything,
don't they? Yeah. Or they suddenly disappear from the cart. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I've had that happen.
Yeah,
I've had things happen when they say that item is no longer available. I think, oh my god, which item? Then I go and look, and I can't. I think, well, it can't be that important if I haven't bought it in 15 years.
I know some people that share their Amazon wish lists.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do that for their wedding lists as well now, which is a bit strange. You can't.
I bought a drive for my computer, and they were having trouble. They were saying, "Oh, your credit card had accepted it," and then like 2 days later, when they sorted it out, the price went up. I was so pissed. So
yeah,
can you imagine?
I hate that too.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
But they do have a thing with the pre-order like price, but like if it goes within, you know, like a certain amount, they 24 hours or whatever. But everything else, you know, you buy it and it comes out cheaper. Yeah. That's the only thing I hate about Amazon. But mind you, we've only had Amazon for about 5 years here, so.
Can I just go back to the Clone Trooper issue? Does that mean I feel sorry for Tamara Morrison? Because if they do a live action series now, they're going to have him dressing up as trans.
Yeah, he's going to have to sort of wear heaven knows what.
You guys,
prosthetics.
And Marvel is actually that rumor about Marvel chucking all those people out and stuff, and Star Wars is the only one now that's complying to this. Do you think Marvel has done that?
Well, Marvel's the one that apparently doing it, not Lucasfilm. Oh, so they're apparently doing a reset. But I'll see when I see it, I'll believe it, because I think probably 90% of Disney is just a dumpster fire now, isn't it? And it needs a clean out from top to bottom, doesn't it? It really does.
Come on. I mean, I can't wait for the Shang-Chi sequel.
Legend of the Nine Rings this time.
That could have been so good.
Movie.
Yeah, I know.
It didn't have to go this. It didn't have to go this way. All of those, I believe, they could have all have made good films with the right directors and some decent casting.
Look, they made their choice. They went with Agatha all along. Let's all move forward, because that is a cracking series.
Yeah, and I just found out that Scarlet Witch has a gay son. I was like, oh, there you go.
Oh, that's Wiccan, isn't it? To be fair, that's been around. That's been in play for quite a while.
Thank God I left Marvel when I did.
Well, DC's got the chance to, smash Marvel, haven't they? Now? So
they're not doing a good enough job, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, to pick up the baton and to sort of move it forward a little bit, and to recognise the things. It's sort of the same as you were saying, Ian. It's to recognise the things that people have got tired of, and just to give people a pretty good time at the cinema. To 2.5 hours at the very most. I'm happy with 2 hours, to tell you the truth.
I am glad they're going inclusive, and they've included a bald actor to do Metamorpho.
Okay.
Great actor. Yeah, again, fantastic casting on Metamorpho and various other characters. Look, it's time to wrap this up. I do feel that thanks to Matt, to Chris, to Gary, to John, and to Ian, all their social medias have been up on screen there. Most of you are on X, apart from Gary, who is you're too cool for school. You're too cool for social. Yeah, apart from that,
but he can be found.
He can be found if you know where to look.
I'm on Facebook. Everybody find me on Facebook.
That's the ticket, isn't it? But thank you all for your company there, the physical media stuff, the Sweet Pea rant that I went on earlier on, the inside track there on Monsters, about the two nutty twins there from the 80s, and you've got the Green Lantern story as well as all the other rabbit holes and things that we went down. Please check out the playlists of all the other shows, so other editions of the Spacebook live here as part of this block. They're all up here on the channel. So we talked about James Bond last week, along with various other things in the mix then. We've done a physical media show, a dedicated physical media show that went on for about 3 hours. Gonna have to do that again soon. There was our look ahead to movies for, when was that, for September and October. So we'll be following that up with the November and Christmas movies too. So you're not going to want to miss that. And there was our deep dive reviews of Beetlejuice, and Alien Romulus from a few weeks ago. So all of that is still up on the channel, as well as episodes of Listed, our classic TV and movie podcast. So yeah, get stuck into all of that and then get right back here for more Out There Entertainment. Thank you everybody for being part of the mission this time. What are you looking forward to, Chris? I know you've got to head off. What's on the watch list? Because I know you always have something lined up for after you've walked the dog.
Terrifier 3.
Say what?
Oh, Terrifier 3.
I'm still trying to see if I can get to the theater to see that.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to pick something from the Hollywood Watch. Hollywood. I might watch. I don't know if Matt remembers Gravy, but I might watch that tonight.
Oh, you bastard!
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I still have nightmares about that, you prick.
Hey, you're very, very welcome. It's a classic movie, but it is part of my Halloween watch list. So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to watch Gravy.
Fucking butts.
If you Gravy. Oh, this sounds absolutely awful. I'd kind of like to sleep tonight.
You don't remember that, Dan? I couldn't sleep.
You remember that, Dan? We covered that like 2 years ago.
I remember.
I must have blocked it out, mate. Look,
yeah, I didn't want to eat for a while too.
Thank you all for your company. Thank you, everybody in the live chat. Let's have some more of those comments on All Out There Entertainment, and we'll catch you on the next one. Well, yeah, swing out. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Ta-da. See ya.